Boom! What up, fam? Anthony Johnson here today, host of the Redman Group, co-founder of the Redman Group, founder of 21 Studios, 21 Convention, 22 Convention, 21 University. We're sponsored today by 21university.com. Go there, check it out, or visit on the App Store. Search 21 University on Android or Apple. You'll find it, free app. There you go, boom, appreciate it. Now, today's episode of the Redman Group special episode 139, titled The State of the Red Pill. And I have a returning guest with me on the show today, DDJ, Doomsday Jesus from Misandry Today. He's been on Redman Group many times, as well as special guests to the show, new Undead Chronic and his buddy Ribby the Party Frog. Excuse me. So without further ado, welcome today's guest to the show, DDJ, Ribby the Party Frog, and Undead Chronic. Welcome, boys.
What is up? Happy Friday, boys.
Yeah, happy Friday.
I appreciate you guys coming on today on short notice. We set this up last night, and I think it's going to be a really great show. Very excited.
Yeah, I'm just excited to have an official Manosphere whatever where the host had to say Ribby the Party Frog. See, now that's in history, yeah. Ribby. You're being written down right now.
It's beautiful.
We are all E-celeb cancer.
So, guys, my audience at 21 Studios and the Redman Group, they're familiar with DDJ because he's been on here a bunch of times. But for Undead Chronic and Ribby the Party Frog, what's your guys' experience with the Manosphere, and when did you find it, and YouTube as well? I know Undead Chronic, you've had a bunch of YouTube channels, pretty popular. Mm-hmm. So if you don't mind going first, what's your background?
Yeah, I'll go pretty quick. So this is Undead Chronic 14. It's for the 14 scrotum slaps Susan has given me. They're very painful. They're not very fun, but it's all right. I guess I started off, I guess I'd say like a MGTOW red pill kind of content creator. And I feel like a lot of dudes will start off like that. But I kind of focused on more of what I enjoyed doing, which is roasting. So, the basic response videos. And I kind of see the videos I did early on, it's like providing a comedic relief valve for all the people sick of feminism, social justice warriors, and I got a pretty mixed crowd, because if you make fun of feminists, you'll get pretty much lots of dudes agreeing with you that aren't necessarily conservative or red pill or MGTOW. It's a quite the large kind of sphere. So yeah, we did that. The roasts were pretty spicy early on. But, the censorship increased, couldn't do as many spicy roasts. So we changed it more to just a general, comedic channel. We'll do a lot of a lot of culture Reddit responses, like Reddit post number 3008. I found 3 dudes inside my wife, and I'm thinking about making her go to marriage therapy with me. What should I do? It's just like such ridiculous cucketry. You can't help but laugh at it. So I got Ribby the Party Frog on. We were expanding the War Band is the brand that I'm doing. And we got my boy Ribby joining the crew, and he's his own thing. He'll do responses too, but we probably disagree on some things. But I'm trying to think what the unifying thing is behind the War Band. Really, it's just making fun of cucks and feminists, simps, and the usual.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I love it, man.
Yeah, dude. I was a fan of Chronic for a couple of years, following his multiple channels, and kind of a similar vein. We're both kind of the gym rats, the party guys in college, and just red pilled through our teenage years and early 20s. And dude, I was a fan of his content, and I went in. We kind of joined forces and started making it together. So he got me and another guy, Taylor. We've been pretty new the last early 2021 getting to the game, but been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So when did you both find the Manosphere? Like, how long ago was that? 10 years ago? 5 years ago?
I guess it really depends on like what is a Manosphere on YouTube? Is a Manosphere like anybody who's anti-feminist? Because, we got like the MRA guys who are coming together to try to make legal changes. And you have like MGTOW dudes who are just like, man, fuck all that shit. And then you have, a lot of people who won't claim men's rights, but they'll still kind of be anti-feminist. But I'll say from my experience, it's probably on YouTube. I'm trying to think of the years, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I heard it was actually Terrence Pop. Heard some Terrence Pop, heard some Raging Golden Eagle and some Sandman. I think once you like watch one of those videos and if you stay for a longer one, which for me, like going to the gym, I go lift and then just play a podcast or whatever. The YouTube algorithm back in the day probably really rewarded that. So now they're just, they would send you anybody related to that. So it's an interesting story. I get people telling me I was their, introduction to the red pill, the Manosphere, whatever it is. you don't always agree with the first content creator you hear, but it's almost like there's something that pulls them in, right? So I try to use my comedy because almost anybody can laugh at a fat woman. Even fat women laugh at fat women. You know what I mean? So like,
Dude, they're
we have a couple
nature's
pulled up on the
punchline.
screen here.
It's too good.
I know.
We got Terrence Pop in the middle here and some fat women.
It's so sad. I know, right? Now, so Ribby actually did that picture. I thought it was great. Yeah, that's the famous the cuck walk. And when I watched that video, the actual announcement, I had like a gut punch because I was still kind of on good terms with CGA. I don't really talk to him much, and Terrence Pop because I've streamed with them both before. And I saw them walking down this, and I was like, oh no, is this going to be like the infamous, like pickup line? It was just basically all these dudes that were in this video are going to be destroyed by the association. I just kind of feel it's like almost like a spiritual feeling. I'm like, this is the beginning of their journey to cucketry. There's like these first steps. And it's so cringe. It was so cringe. I'm like, oh my, I think I roasted you a little bit, Dream Johnson. I honestly don't remember.
I think it was about John Summers or something like that. His speech.
Yeah, it's probably about your summit. I'll tell you what though. It's like friendly fire. It's like you're roasting everybody. But the fact that you were down to, what did I even say you ready? I said he was able to take a roast and not stay assword about it. And I think you might be like the first or second person to do that. So mad props to you for taking a roast. But I will also say, I think the video I was roasting of you, like 10 minutes in, it turned into like a bull cuck mindset video, and I just can't help myself on that dude. So Brady knows what I'm talking
Dude,
about.
he dropped that name in one of his videos. He's like, yeah, you go ahead, call me bull cuck mindset. It was funny, dude.
He's speaking of the CME thing too. He missed the trailer filming, I guess, but he's definitely confirmed for that. Yeah,
Mark
he's
Sims.
definitely, yeah. And like I've said before, I'm going to address my relationship with John in the near future in my documentary part 2 about the Sharp Mama. But in the meantime, John Summers is a grown man. He's a father. He can take care of himself, defend himself.
Oh, he has kids.
So, he's been on the MGTOW Dictionary channel talking about he has a child, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not sure if they're his.
Well, I'm just going to say,
got to get that paternity test.
I'll say this though, whatever the situation is with John in his personal life, he doesn't weaponize it like Donovan does to make money. So
yeah, he's not lying. Also, he's not lying about getting with 9s and 10s. That's the thing. Like I see bullcock mindset. I felt kind of bad roasting him so hard the first time because like I can just tell by his eyes that he was like one of those guys that got roasted for like a lisp or whatever going up, and he's done the gym work. The dude's not fat. The dude's not like a skinny shit, but like it's almost they say that people who get bullied put off signals to attract bullies. You know what I mean? And yeah, you could call Chronic a bully. But all I'm saying is like after the first roast, he reacted in such a way that just was begging to continually get roasted. Am I wrong, Ribby?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You just start flailing around. But here's the thing, like at the end of the day, the dude could just ignore me and his problems go away. He could just not say bullcuck mindset and the problems go away.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's get DDJ on this. DDJ, let's actually pull up your video on this.
All right.
I do want to get into more of Undead's videos, but before we do, I've been going with them now for a while. So here we got this pulled up. So first of all, I think this would really open up the conversation for all of us. But DDJ, you're the first person I heard about a year and a half ago. You said something called the red pill blind spot, and that really comes to mind when I think about guys like the Sharp Mama, Donovan Sharp. You did a video on him here, actually, revealing the true nature of what he's been doing in his life. Let me get this fucking ad out of the way. But talk to me about the red pill blind spot. I don't think you have a dedicated video on it, but you've talked about it quite a bit.
Well, I was considering the red pill blind spot as an issue. And again, pardon me, I'm eating. So if I burp into the microphone,
sorry,
there you
I'm
go.
laughing in the picture.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
So this chubby.
Yeah. So here's the thing. The red pill blind spot was something that I kind of discovered or kind of started thinking about 6 months into doing the TFM show with TFM. And this probably would have been right around the time I started my channel. So about October 2017. And I didn't really think about it too much. But the reason that I considered it is because I noticed that there were a lot of people making a lot of arguments that just didn't they were missing information, right? They were missing obvious information. And so like what they would do is they'd take a statement and they would make it out of context. And then they would go, oh, well, that's just the way it is. Well, look, I was raised pretty rough, and I learned early on not to trust authority. And I also learned early on somebody who says that's just the way it is, usually that's a cop out or it's an excuse.
Mhm.
And in working in the legal field, it's the same thing with attorneys. So like if you go to an attorney and you say, bro, here's what I want to do, this is the legal thing I want to do, and they say, okay, well, no, you can't do that. Then my next question is, why? What in the law says I can't do that? Or what in the law has said that this isn't possible? Oh, well, we've just never done it before. Okay, so it's a case of first impressions. It's not that I can't do it. It's that you're afraid to bring the argument forward. Well, when you take it from that context and you look at it in those terms, you look at the red pill and you look at the manosphere, for example. So like one of the common things, I'm working on a video right now about this in part, the common phrase you hear is, oh, such and such is one blowjob away from the plantation. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is usually talking about people within the MGTOW community. So this is kind of like a MGTOW focused sort of conversation at this stage. But the problem is that there are prominent MGTOW in the community, myself included, that have and do date women. Not cohabitate, not get married, but we have and do date women. None of those guys are one blowjob away from the plantation. And we're talking about people like Barbar, Human, many of the people who've been around a long time. A lot of those people, they, again, they're not one blowjob away from the plantation. So I started to look at different things people were saying and different concepts people were putting forward. And I said, look, we have a blind spot. So we always talk about the gynocentric blind spot, where the guy is such a simp or he's such a cuck that this woman will run roughshod over him. And the guy will be like, oh, I guess that's just how it is. I guess she'll just peg me again. It'll be fine. It's like, no, fuck off. So the idea here with the red pill blind spot is that what I saw a lot of people who they said, oh yeah, I'm an independent thinker, or, I can critically think for myself, but then they weren't. They were just doing hashtag me too. Yeah, that's what he said. And you saw this. So like a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years ago, I was seeing different MGTOW disagreeing with each other. And I was watching their fans battle one another, right? Now, some of that stuff was astroturf from the outside, but there was a lot of it happening on the inside because everybody was trying to, or at least at that time, a lot of these people were trying to own the quote unquote MGTOW brand. And so you would see these people step forward and they're like, oh no, MGTOW's this or MGTOW's not, but there would be no rational reason behind it. So it would be like a personal attack or an ad hom attack or an opinion that had no basis in facts or no basis in science or no basis in even the philosophy, right? So the red pill blind spot is this idea that we have to look at each other with the same level of critical thinking that we look at feminists or that we look at communists or that we look at grifters or we look at people who want to try to take advantage of the men in the community.
Even just women is what comes to mind, man. Like it's
yeah,
like
absolutely women.
In the manosphere, we talk all the time about, watch what she does, ignore what she says, right? Watch what she does, ignore what she says, watch her actions. But guys don't fucking do this with each other, especially in the manosphere and the red pill and stuff, right?
Well, but that's because
they don't even fucking pay attention.
Right, but that's because everybody pretends that they're all alphas, right? And really, most of us, let's be real, most of us aren't. Most of us are just average guys who take care of ourselves. We shower every day. We work out. We have jobs. We have lives. Maybe we have some kids or, whatever the program is. We have a life, right?
Hey, yo, Ribby, you're more beta than the fish I can buy for $2 at Walmart, bro.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you're more beta than those Night of Living Dead zombies that don't even have like any cool crap. They don't even
go on, DBJ. Go on.
No, you're good. You're good. I just figured I'd give you guys your interjection. So my point is that now all of a sudden, you fast forward to 2021. So like I took a couple years off. I only made a few videos primarily because I had to stack some ducats so that I can buy a house on the one payment plan, which I did, 6 months ago. But when I came back, I kind of looked around a little bit before I made a return video. And I started seeing that a lot of the stuff that was common knowledge when I first arrived in the manosphere, in 2006, 2008, 2010, 2012, that stuff wasn't common knowledge anymore. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, listen, I'll give you the, the elixir of life. Just, buy my dating course. Right.
Yeah.
And, for the low price of $1,500 for a dating course, it's an online webinar. Right. So it's one of those scenarios where you're like, well, shit, do I get dinner and a movie first? Reach around anything, And then I started seeing like a lot of these people who were like, especially more prominent voices, not just in the MGTOW community, but in some of these other communities, who are misrepresenting what they were. And one of the things that I've respected and appreciated about you, Anthony, is that there's no confusion about who you are. There's no misrepresentation. There's no dishonesty as far as what the 21 convention is. There's no dishonesty about what the purpose of your channel is, or what the purpose of the Red Man Group is or was. And there's not this idea. You get these people and they turn into these victim blaming, or they become victims themselves. Oh, YouTube demonetized me, or blah blah blah, give me more money, and e-begging and bullshit like that. And don't get me wrong, I think it's completely appropriate that people get compensated for the work they do if their viewers find it of value. You're never going to hear me complain about that or say something about that. But the guys who constantly e-beg everything, and Stefan Molyneux, I'm looking at you. It's that type of thing where it's either before the video, during the video 3 times, after the video, and then everywhere else. And again,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
so they
that's
become.
the point. I'm sorry to interrupt. We're going to say
Go ahead.
it becomes more about the money than the message.
Correct.
Like for me and Chronic, we're a little spicier. YouTube shadow bans us, like unsubs or subscribers, whatever. It takes us down. Not looking to make a lot of monetization of money. Like we have other full-time jobs. This is our kind of in-between hustle where we have fun with it. We do it because we want to get the message across. But I 100% agree. I think CGA, what was it? Coach Greg Adams, Chronic, right? He'd be like, if I don't get enough likes and donations on the stream, I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you're acting like a chick now. Like you need X amount of validation points and likes. Like, you're here to get the message across. If it's
let me address that real quick. So I like to refer to that as the free anus lifestyle. And what I mean by that is that if you don't have enough anus, you're going to leave. And or it's like that. You remember South Park? You see Cartman, he's like, God damn it, I'm taking my toys and going home. Who wants to fucking touch me? Right?
Well, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up this video because I think this is a video that specifically does exactly what Ribby was talking about. Coach Greg, for the first time ever, I've seen Coach Greg shame and guilt men into what you're liking, subscribing, and giving money. Like it's bizarre.
Well, here's my assessment on a lot of these dudes.
Dude, do you want to guilt men and shame them into not giving you money? You've become a woman. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think a lot.
Greg, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think a lot of times, I think Coach Greg Adams, when he started his channel, I think he was actually just trying to do the coaching stuff, and then he found his way into MGTOW Red Pill because that's what the likes were. But if you show your face and you hold women responsible, and you should know this, you should talk about this, Dream. You're pretty much excommunicated from the majority of the career fields to make any money. So that's why I don't show my face, because I'm in a career field that makes a lot of money. It's not a job. I have a career. So what I would say to people who just like have to live stream and shame, I literally look at Coach Greg Adams and I show him to my black scientist friends who have PhDs. And I go, hey, man, what if you were 40, 45 and your job was LARPing like an alpha on YouTube giving dating advice? Like all of us young dudes are laughing at him. Like it's embarrassing. It's so cringe. It's funny.
Well, let me kind of interject there. I think that you make an extremely valid point, and this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. There's a lot of people out there that hold themselves out as like experts in this and experts in that, but they don't have a life, right? They don't like, you're like, okay, so you had an expertise. What have you done in life? Like I've been in law for 25 years, right? I've got 4 kids, I've got 2 grandkids, 2 divorces because I had to make the mistake twice. Don't hate. But my point is that you it's exactly that. But there are people out there on YouTube and they're projecting a false image. And what we see is, and it's funny that you mentioned the whole idea where Coach Greg Adams was getting his views from MGTOW first. Look, I can tell you right now, I can think of 6 different YouTubers who were openly MGTOW when they started streaming or started doing their thing, and then they just walked away from MGTOW once they got their user base, and that was the plan from day one.
I guess I was guilty for like the first channel, but then like I guess after you had to make 3 or 4, and I wasn't outright MGTOW. Like I don't know. I mean, it's just the first channel. I remember the first time I made the videos, like I'm not MGTOW anymore.
Yeah, and the issue, and the issue here is that about 6 years ago, everybody started having these extreme definitions of what MGTOW was and what it isn't. And And while some of that stuff made sense and was supported by logic, reason, and facts, there was a lot of it that just was like people were trying to create their own cult of personality, right? And they wanted their e-shekels. And like you said, when you get so successful, you get to successful to a certain level to where you're doing just fan service because you just want to make money, or you need the money because, again, you have no life outside of thing, like you're LARPing as a successful person. Now all of a sudden, you know, you're at the whim of your fans, and more importantly, you're no longer helping men. You are regurgitating in an echo chamber in an effort to please the people you have, in hopes that somebody else will be there. And
You mean pandering like a politician for a vote? Just pandering.
well, it is, and honestly, one of the first people who did that I've seen on a large scale online on YouTube was Sargon of Akkad. And Sargon, like I like a lot of his content. I like the way he does analysis. I don't necessarily agree with his politics, but that said, you know, there was a time where Sargon, for a long time, he started and he went down this path where all he was doing was competing to his fan service. And then, like, when he would debate somebody, he wasn't trying to win the debate. He was trying to pander to his fans rather than trying to actually participate in the debate.
Bingo.
And so he ended up getting wrecked multiple times as a direct result of that. And then he had to go back and he had to reassess what he was doing. But he's one of the few people that is humble enough to say, "Oh shit, I fucked up. I need to go fix that," you know? But a lot of these people who run around, they claim, "Oh, you know, I'm here to help men, you know, buy my sex toy or do this or do that, you know, or buy my dating course," and you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's a great point. DDJ, kind of like, in my mind, every YouTuber, once they get big enough, it comes to a crossroads. It's like you have the ability to sell out, like basically throw away everything that your channel and your message was originally stood for and cash in, or you don't. And I think CME is basically like, yeah, we're cashing out, and that's kind of all it is. But
Yep.
and going back to having a life, like, dude, it's gonna sound sexist as hell, but I don't really think you boys care. If Donovan Sharp pulled up to the club in a freaking Corvette, like wearing like dressed like a pimp, and he was getting sloppy toppy from an 18-year-old Instagram model while he had two more in the back, and he came rolling out and he had like money out of his pockets and a six-pack, I'd be like, all right. I mean, this guy's still a scam artist, but he's talking the talk and he's walking the walk. Like, I could see that. Like, okay, maybe I could see him crushing Poon and being a legendary player. You know what I mean? Now, whether or not the advice would be valid, I don't really think so. Because if I were him, I would literally just say, find a way to get money, hit the gym and get jacked. End of story. You don't need to pay me $2,000 for that. Like, that's it. But he, meanwhile, an ex-con, a felon, fake name, formerly obese, in his 30s, in his best year. Pretty sure he may or may not have gotten lipo. Taking testosterone because he's like naturally too low. Has like a bitch ass estrogen voice, and has committed to a chick in her 40s post-wall thought that he admitted. Chronic Guy did a video yesterday. He admitted she took tons of schlong. And no, dude. So dude, this is the authority on red pill and masculinity.
Well,
a formerly obese ex-con who's committed to a post-wall sausage-ridden 40-year-old thought.
Let's just call him what it is. He's the master of menopause, right? They used to be master pickup artists, right? Back in the day, he's the master of menopause. He's going to be the menopause master in a few months. She'll be his wife. Will be 45 years old in August. August 6, 1976 is her birthday. She's going to be 45 fucking years old, dude.
Dude, that's decades before Ribby and Undead Chronic even existed. We're like,
dude, she was in college. She was in college in 1994 in Florida. I was in fucking kindergarten in 1994.
I wasn't even born yet. I was born the
I
following.
wasn't even born yet, yeah, dude. Me and Ribby were still floating around some seminiferous tubules, waiting to like, I hope I don't see any cuts today.
I want to address something. Hang on, that Undead said earlier. So he mentioned me, and I want to respond to it in a good way, in a positive way. So you mentioned that these dudes, like Coach Greg and like myself, and Aaron Clary actually blogged about me years ago, like way back in the day, like 2010, 2011 or something. About he made a blog post like top 20 unemployable bloggers, and I was like number 1 or number 2. Me and like Rolo were at the top because of all the content I put out, even back in the 2000s and the early 2010s, right? The 21 convention, all this stuff, right? Pickup artistry and all that. So what I'm saying is, I don't mind at all. I respect what you guys do to conceal your appearance and name and stuff. You're fully anonymous, basically. DDJ is a little bit different now, but still basically fully anonymous, right? What I hate is the guys who come out in public like Donovan with a fake name and their face, and they want millions and millions and millions of people to fucking watch them, right, on purpose, as many millions as possible. If Donovan or anyone else, even Better Bachelor, for example, I don't have any particular beef with or problem with necessarily, but you guys are free to go say whatever you want. But that dude, like, what's his real name? Nobody knows, right? But he wants 1 million people a day to watch his videos if he can. If he could snap his fingers, he would have 1 million people a day. He would have 10 million subscribers, right? But he doesn't want to put his name out there. So they want to have their cake and eat it too. And that pisses me off. I put my real name and my real face out to the manosphere since 2006, I think. So for fucking, 14, 15 years now, I've been putting this shit out. These people want to they want to be anonymous like you, but then they put their face on camera and they bitch about single moms, they bitch about feminism, they bitch about women, right? Even if it's legitimate, and then they want to hide behind this it's like they're half pregnant, right? They're either pregnant or you're not. It's fucking
that's an interesting situation because let's just talk about Better Bachelor. I've seen his face. I haven't seen any of his videos, right? So he's not using his real name, but his face is out there. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think. If he was in my industry, he wouldn't get the job. People would know his face, would get his face. It's kind of like the biggest pull you get from showing your face on any kind of platform is you get to show your facial expressions and your verbal. So half of communication is nonverbal. So your fans interact with you. They would much rather see actual Undead Chronic moving his hands around, throwing his head back and laughing at Cox, right? Because that's more engaging. You feel like you're in the room with the boy, but you can't. So they're getting that. They're not using their real name, but bro, you're still gonna dox yourself. So for me, it's just it's like half chub. It's but I wouldn't, I don't see it as they're a traitor, they're weak or anything. It's more just
it's half chub, exactly, half chub.
Well, it's almost like Better Bachelor is a brand name, and it's I don't know. I guess since I'm fully anonymous, it's not as not as egregious to me. But you have your opinion.
I'm gonna address this exact comment because this guy's saying because they don't want to lose their careers, this is a hobby for them. He means Better Bachelor and anyone Donovan Sharp even before he got exposed, right? This is the issue though. Number one, they just don't want to have they want to have the cake and eat it too. They want the half chub. They want to be half pregnant, right?
Yeah.
But here's what they've done. They set up a ticking time bomb. If you want, Donovan Sharp has 13 million views. Better Bachelor probably has 20 million, 30 million, even more, right? It's a ticking fucking time bomb. You put your face on camera and you bitch about women, right or wrong, you're gonna get fucking swarmed and someone's gonna find you eventually.
Oh yeah,
it's inevitable.
And but here's the
hang on. Then they get doxxed though. They get doxxed and then they bitch. It's what did you expect? 25 million people have seen your face. I think the people working at Walmart don't have a fucking YouTube app on their phone. This is stupid.
Nah, Dream, that's a good point. To do that, there's no going back. It's it's like deciding to do porn and then being shocked when you don't find a good.
Exactly. These are the Mila Khalifas. The Mia Khalifas of the red pill.
Wait, let me just say something. That was a great point, Ribby. Let me just say it right now for the fans. Making red pill content as a man is like getting your pussy beat up on camera as a woman. So thank you to all the male porn stars like Wet Dream Johnson out here doing the work.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
That's it, dude. Well, yeah. And here's the thing too. The only thing, Dream, that I might say the reason why they'd be like, all right, screw it. I feel like the average guy of the CME, the average age of the CME guys is 40 or 50. So it's if they're creeping on retirement soon anyway, and they got some money stashed and they know they could make decent money off their subs, they might say, screw it. You know what I mean? But for us, if you're a younger crowd, totally different story. If you're in your 25 as opposed to 50, or even 55, late 40s, it's a big difference in equity of what you have built up. And you might be like, I could afford to do this.
It depends on how you've lived your life. I've known guys that are 50 that have less equity than either one of the two of you. So
yeah, no, that's a good point.
Well, actually, I got $300,000 in debt because I just wanted to buy enough weed for the year at the start.
There you go.
Right? So they probably have more money than me.
Right.
Ribby got a room in his apartment. It's like a Scrooge McDuck pool, except he filled it. It's like a giant pool filled with water.
I wanted to address one final thing before we jump on to the next thing, and that's these guys who were showing their faces and they're not using their real names, right? And they're just trying to get the stage name type of thing, right? Look, nobody cares what their real name is if really the only jobs they've ever had are shit like gas stations and Target and stuff like that. Nobody cares about that.
Dude, Donovan's gonna have a hard time. He's next con. People aren't gonna want to hire him regardless. So he doesn't really have as much to lose,
Well, and it's not even that he's just the next con. It's that he's been found guilty of fraud, and you can't work in a job. You can't work in a job where you're in finance, right? If there's fraud there,
dude.
You're never I mean, you could kiss any kind of job handling money or working with securities or working in finance or working in any trusted position at all ever in life. And the other side of it too, I think you guys also made a good point too. Look, if you're a dude that needs to shoot up with testosterone, maybe you've got other issues going on.
Oh yeah.
So here's what I want to shift the focus to next, guys. Since our fans haven't seen your initial takes yet, I just want to get your initial thoughts. And what was your initial first impression when you saw the CME thing that you're obviously roasting here? First, we'll go with Undead, then Ribby, and then DDJ. We'll get your thoughts on it too.
Ribby,
so what was your initial response when?
Yeah, I was like, Ribby, did we do this first video together? I think my first initial response to the.
No, it was just you. For the
yeah.
Dude,
so
you sent it to me. I was asleep because we have a slight time difference, and I saw it as soon as I woke up. I put it on my TV. Like I had to watch it. I had to watch the Cucketry in full HD glory. I sat down on my couch, got a coffee, cracked it open on like a Friday morning, and just laughed. My dad was looking at me. She's like, "You okay?" I was losing it, dude. I was laughing so hard.
So my response was like seeing all these. First of all, they had like the interviews cut in, where they're all like answering questions. It's actually minus some like stock footage and like some of the sounds. It's a pretty decently put together trailer. Like they obviously found a camera room and had some editing together. I didn't know most of the dudes though. So like my initial reaction is like, I knew Donovan was, cucking around. So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to roast whoever I see. And yeah, like I went to look at the information of everybody who's been invited to this conference. We got like black supremacists. We got a dude that has to pay for pussy. Like, look at the fresh and fit dude has to pay bitches for pussy and then pay them to come on his show. It's the funniest thing. It's just like, you got a tall Arabic simp and then a short, really fat African dude. It's like it's a Timon and Pumbaa. Right. And they pay whores to go on their show and talk to them about how they're so alpha. It's just like if a dude could get bitches off the street and then talked about this kind of stuff because they're attracted, that's one thing. But these dudes actually have to pay like escorts and not even good escorts either, like fat, nasty white escorts, like white pigs. Like, look at this Arabic dude. His dad's abusing thousands of Arabic families back at home to send his little bitch ass son a bunch of money to spend on white whores. That is that's not being a good Muslim, bro. Why are you spending your money on white? That's haram. These fat white women are pigs.
Dude, and then there's Santa Cup. Did you go to that one guy, the old dude with the beard?
Bruno Cup.
I'm pretty sure I saw him on a Law & Order episode. If you boys know what I mean.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this guy said, I don't even know who he
creepy,
is, but he said, we'll teach you how to be gentlemen. And that's all I needed to know. Like, get charged $2,000 for Mr. Boomer, who quite literally stood around twiddling his dick while the USA was ripped in half. What did he do?
Yep.
Nothing, right? So,
dude, there's another part where one of the guys is like, it's not that we don't want women. And he cuts to this guy in the beard, and he's like, oh, yeah, we definitely do. And I'm like,
that was this guy.
Oh no! Yeah, so I don't know. Like all of them are just caricatures. I can't, And
Dude,
well,
like
going
your
to
dad
Vegas
gets
too.
too drunk at a barbecue, and he's trying to flex on like, hey, check this out, son. I get mad poon. Yeah, look at these guys. Look at
this.
You know what they look like? They look like the wannabe Expendables.
The Expendicucks.
Yeah, the Expendisimps.
It's like Ocean's 11 and a half, except they're missing a couple chromosomes. So
well,
they're like special. They're like Ocean 6 and 6.
Ocean's trisomy 21.
Yeah.
Well, all have Down syndrome.
So here's a little piece of trivia that some of you may not know, especially some of the listeners.
Oh no.
What race has the highest level of membership in the gay community?
Was it black?
Yep.
Oh, dude, I remember hearing that somewhere.
Yeah.
What do I win? Ribby wins a beer. All right,
right there you go. Drink up. So the reason I bring that up is because a lot of African American communities, there's a well-known thing called the undercover brother.
On the down low, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're all on the down low. And Atlanta used to be the land of the undercover brother for a long time.
Oh, it still is.
And I don't want to know, Chronic. I don't want to know.
There's a place called the Tiger. There's a place called the Bull. I think it's called the Tiger. Yeah, it's called the Tiger. It's a bar downtown Atlanta. And every time the Clemson player, Clemson Tigers, it's a Clemson bar. They walk in, they walk out real fast, real white faced.
Right. Well, my point is that, I'm sure that a lot of these African-American men in CME, I'm sure they've been with some women. I'm sure that some of them have been paid, they paid for some of these women. Some of them, came for free. Mm-hmm. I'm also sure that they've got their testosterone injections anally and orally. And when you look at this kind of thing, you're like, oh my God. And don't get me wrong. Like, look, I'm not going to cap on everybody going to the CME, but the CME is very clear. And let's be really honest. It's a cash grab, right?
Yeah.
It's not there to help men. It's and let me kind of explain it. So I looked at the CME's website, and to get a standard ticket, it's like $1,500, and there's only 50 slots. If you want the VIP, treatment, including the reach around, that's $2,000. And so now you've got a max seating of 75 people. Okay. Each and every one of these people has a bigger audience than 75 subs. Each and every one of these people has more than 75, Patreons or subscribe stars or people who donate money to them. So, and let's take an example, Terrence Popp, right? Terrence Popp is retired, our Army Ranger. He served a couple tours in the military overseas. He's a combat veteran, decorated combat veteran. He's got over 100,000 subs. He's got a lot of connections in a variety of different communities. He's very well known. He's not just known in the MGTOW community. He's known in the veterans community. He's known in the comedy circuit. He's known in the real world, right? Mm-hmm. You're not extending your reach by going to an event for 75 people. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to do that.
I'll dish you guys the dirt on what they got paid. They all got bought out basically. They all just got bribed.
Oh yeah,
right. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh when you hear the amount. You're gonna laugh.
Please.
So here's what they sold their souls for, right? And by the way, I was offered like a shit ton of money to film this event. Guys don't even know that yet, but they'll find that out in part 2 of the documentary.
Is that like filming like in his hotel room with other men coming in?
I was listen. I run 21 Studios. Our filming for our events is amazing, right? I do the best in the manosphere. O'Shea Duke Jackson's called it that, the gold standard, right?
I will say you got some great camera work for sure.
Thanks. And Donovan wanted. He told me
it all comes from gay porn.
Of course. Now,
hey, that's where you learn it, man. You learn from the best.
He asked me twice to film his event, and I walked away because I we'll get into the reasons why in the documentary. But I walked away with a lot of money on the table. I walked away. I didn't need it, and I didn't want it because I knew this guy had fucking serious problems with lying and all this bullshit. Mm-hmm. Here's the point, though. The speakers got paid a measly, less than Joe Biden paid them. Their Biden stimmy checks or more. They got paid $1,000 to speak at this event. That's it.
Dude,
a thousand. Now they get commission if they sell tickets. They get a lot of commission. They get half, which is unusual. Okay. And that's why the tickets are jacked up, by the way. Those tickets are so expensive to fucking facilitate a super... 50% on an ebook is normal because an ebook has zero fucking cost. It costs like 1 penny to fucking send it, right?
What are you talking about? 50%? I get 70.
Whatever. Yeah. The point is though, the tickets have a super high fucking commission rate for a physical event ticket. Like if you go to a Grant Cardone event or some other event with an affiliate system, they don't offer you 50% commission. It's too fucking much because the conference costs money to put on, unlike an ebook or some grifter course on the internet, right? Physical events have hotel rooms, conference spaces, all kinds of event staff, flights, hotels, like tons of fucking shit. That cost tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes 6 figures, easy. But anyway, my point is they got paid $1,000. That's it. $1,000 to sell their soul to this fucking fraudulent scumbag.
Dude, that is cheap, man.
Well, it's not only...
I didn't know what I thought the price was. I was thinking somewhere in like anywhere between like 10 and 20, like a good chunk. Because, dude, and the reason I thought that is because the tickets are so high. I did the math of what... assuming everybody bought 2K ticket, like the primo, I think Chronic said they had sold 40. I did some quick math. I'm like, they already made like 300,000, like between almost $4. I think it was $380,000. Like back when we saw how many tickets were sold, like early on.
They're selling. From what I hear, they're selling almost nothing. That's why Donovan's making new ticket tiers and ticket.
Oh, he's making all that fake crap.
It's like an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I wonder
would you like a large fry with that?
No, I was like, how much do I got to pay to park my Chevy in his wife's Puniti? Because I know it's big enough. Look,
right. I've been building Manosphere conventions for 15 fucking years now. It's our 15-year anniversary. I've done more than anyone in the world by far. I know what I'm doing better than anyone. Donovan is a bumbling dumb fuck. He has no idea what he's doing. The event is in less than 60 days. It's in like 45 days or some shit. Do you know how fucking tight of a timeline that is to sell tickets? No one's going to go. No one's going to buy. It's stupid.
Especially people aren't traveling as much now. Like he should have either waited to do this or, like you said, announced it like a year ahead of time. It was
Or at
very
least
small
for-
window.
At least 4 or 5, 6 months, like something more
Yeah.
reasonable to make plans and fucking timing. People got
Yeah.
like families and shit. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Well, but
it's
I think there's
dumb.
something important that really needs to be brought to the forefront of this conversation. Okay,
Sure.
if you're selling your soul for a measly G,
Yep.
right? I mean, $1,000. Let's be real. You could trip and fall on $1,000, right?
Dude,
Most
Biden
people,
just
most
said-
people
That's
can.
a lot of weed,
Biden,
man.
Biden money is more than that. $400
Right.
more from Joe Biden.
Right, but my
Yeah,
point, guys.
yeah.
So there you go. You could trip and fall at $1,000. What that should tell you, even with the commissions for the event tickets, right?
Yep.
What that should tell you is that these men are not who they say they are. They
Mhm.
aren't. And to that point, look at the amount of subscribers a person has on their YouTube channel and then look at their views. So like I just came back, so my views are a little bit low for a channel of my size. And the only reason I publicize my subscribers is because I didn't want to manually upload all my fucking videos to Odyssey. Odyssey will do it for me. They're in the process of doing it. That's the only reason I showed my subs. But there are people out there with 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 subscribers, and they've got 5,000 views on their video. Or, they've got like, maybe they've got a lot of views in the videos, but all their comments look super generic. So that they're buying their views and they're buying their comments and everything else. And it's all AstroTurf. So,
Yeah.
but above and beyond that, if you're trying to make, like this is your side hustle and you're trying to make a little bit of money on it at the same time, whereas unlike me, I just want everything I'm doing to pay for itself. I want, my web hosting for my website to pay for itself, some of the stuff that I've done for my channel to pay for itself. And after that, I could give a fuck. But my point is that if you're not making enough money that you're going to fly across the country for a free trip to Vegas, which by the way is not what it was before. That's like going to Paris in 2021, right?
Yeah.
Nobody
dude,
wants to go.
it's crap.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to Paris in 2021 because it's a damn no-go zone.
Maybe
Oh,
in the
you
Huey.
American? Death to America. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're swarmed by Muslims and you're in 6 different pieces and you're on a 4chan video.
Dude,
I'd
screw
go see it
France.
on a helicopter.
Whenever anybody talks about France, I will take any opportunity to dunk on France because they're like the biggest bitch. They're literally the guy you go to raise a fist and he whimpers and crawls away. Anytime there's a big world war, France is like, we give up, don't hurt us. Screw France.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
go
right
ahead.
now you have to understand that, their president's a child abuse victim who's married to his abusers, like a Mary Kay Letourneau type.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Hey, Ribby, quick on this one. Yeah, Macron, their president, like his teacher, who was old granny pussy, sandpaper pussy, pretty much married him as soon as he turned legal age. But I think
Jesus.
I think half of Ribby's hate is just they don't really treat frogs very well in France. We'll just say it
My
like that.
amphibian Buddhas, they eat the frog legs, but
There
it's
you
all
go.
right because feminists can eat the frog balls.
There you
But
go.
Anyway,
So, but my point, is that look, if you could be bought off for a measly $1,000 and your Patreon is bigger than that, or you're as successful as you say you are, that should tell you that number one, these people can't run their finances. Okay. They can't run their finances. They can't manage their personal lives outside of YouTube, and they need the money and they need the platform. And look, nobody needs a platform of 75 guys. You go to an event like that, like you go to something like
Donovan
21
Sharp's
convention.
wife needs a platform for 75 guys to get up to her.
I'm sure she's already had it. It's called Greyhound. So, but my point is that, with Anthony's event, and I've seen a lot of stuff behind the scenes with Anthony's event. He and I have an NDA, and I've done a deep dive into a lot of his finances and in the way that his business is run. Almost all the money in Anthony's event goes into the event. There's living expenses and things like that as far as throughout the year and those types of things, but there's no extravagant, I need to shill this so I can go buy a boat, right? There's none of that. And there's none of this, I'm going to do a $2,000 an hour phone call, even though I'm not educated enough to have it. And
I'm not a coach. I don't offer coaching to anyone.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. So I think that for the people that would actually participate in this particular event, I don't think that those people, with respect, I don't think that any of those people are thinking critically if they're coming from a position of good faith. I think that every one of those people that's part of CME has a larger platform than what CME offers.
Yep.
And none of those people need to go to an event like CME to be able to associate with each other. Because the reality is that, look, the 4 of us are here. We're associated with one another. We didn't have to put on a fucking event at the Holiday Inn or wherever the fuck, whatever gas station they're going to put their event on at in order to make it happen.
Mhm.
We just got together and said, fuck it, let's stream.
Yeah, dude. And going off that DDJ, one of the best parts is in the actual trailer when you boys watch it. I think it was like Aaron Clary, whatever little leprechaun loudmouth guy is. He's like,
I'm
a
sorry.
finance expert.
I'm sorry.
We're
Fuck
gonna
Aaron
teach
Clary,
you-
but go on.
We're going to, yeah, whatever. We're going to teach you how to be frugal and financially independent. I'm like, dude, Ribby will teach you that. Step one, don't throw $2,000 freaking dollars at PUA pickup posers to try and teach you how to be good with your money. Be like, are you
Exactly.
serious, dude? And it's not even like the $2,000, like, oh, okay, look, if you say it's $2,000, but like the flight and food and your room is covered, then it's like, all right, maybe I'll give them a little wiggle room because that could get expensive. But that's just for the event itself. So it's like
I
the
think
guys
the
that
VIP
are
dudes.
good-
I think the
yeah.
VIP get a hotel, but no one gets a flight. And there's always more shit, dude. The same thing with our events. Like you have to buy a
Yeah.
ticket. You have
But
to buy a
Vegas
hotel.
is giving the hotels away because nobody's going. Let's be real, okay? They're giving that shit away.
Probably.
No, they are. I've been to Vegas a few times recently, and they're giving that shit away. And frankly, Vegas is like Facebook. It's turned into a ghetto.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, the thing with Vegas is with the COVID lockdowns and stuff, people started realizing. Well, I'll tell you, even before that,
Mhm.
the reason why all these dudes want to go to Vegas is because most of them are fucking out of touch boomers. So back in
Yeah.
the 80s, how would you get easy, fresh, young, good puniti when you had no skills, you had money? You go to fucking
Mhm.
Vegas and buy a hooker. Whatever.
Right.
Right.
So all these boomer cucks are like so excited about going to Vegas. I'm like, literally the Vegas for Undead Chronic is the local college town. I'll buy some weed and go out there, get an Airbnb, and then just get Tinder, but whatever, get random fucking hookup app sluts over. Like that kind of party. Like, who would you rather go to a college party with Chronic? You'll get more pussy with me there. You get more fucked up there than go to Vegas, spend thousands of dollars,
Get
and then
rolled
what?
over,
Get
lose half your net
jumped
worth at the
by
casino.
some person in town because it's cheap.
Well, and that kind of, I'm going to tirade a little bit if it's okay, but I think
Go
that
on.
Chronic makes a really good point. And this is something that since I've been back at YouTube and making videos, I think I made a let me see if I can find it. I made a video called "Don't Be a Dysfunctional Lone Wolf," and Chronic makes an absolutely valid point here. Look, you're going to have a better time. You're going to get more pussy. You're going to have a lot more fun. You're going to have stronger relationships if you get together with people people you associate with, people who you've developed real world friendships with, where where you guys can all get together and maybe go to a stag party, or maybe go to a college town, or maybe you go do something as a group. You're gonna have a far better time, and it's going to be a far more authentic time than if you go to some prefabricated online bullshit with people who are pretending to be your friends that you're never going to see in real life. And when you finally get in their presence, you're like, wow, that guy's creepy. Right?
We could have told you that. It doesn't cost $2,000.
Well, but the thing is that sort of thing today is rare. 20,000 years ago, when I was your guys' age, this is how we associated. This is how we socialized. You went out to the club in the weekend and you'd go see a live band with your friends, and maybe you see a crowd of girls there and you'd go say hi. And you never had to worry about whether or not one was packing, because you don't want to cross swords when you get back, right? And then all of a sudden, then you got to claim self-defense or something when they arrest you.
I want to pull up something here too. So you guys are talking about the conference. The issue in 2020, we had a huge media explosion with the 22 convention, the one we do for women, Make Women Great Again.
Oh, that was
And
so yeah. That ad campaign, pretty much 95% of how much I'm impressed with you is how beautifully you because I just watched compilations of women screaming, "How dare they make a convention making women?" I think you got on Fox News, whatever. I was just laughing.
yeah.
My ass
Yeah.
off. Yeah, that was absolutely
Good
like
work.
seriously.
Yeah.
In terms of media manipulation, you literally pulled a 2016 Donald Trump on the bitches, and it was glorious. So let me give you a little. That was just beautiful, beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, he wants to give you a little slap in the ass.
That's exactly what that was.
That was one of my finest moments in my life to date, and I'm really proud of it. It was awesome to fucking troll those people, and I learned from Trump. I watched Trump starting in 2016, 2017, 2018, and I applied that to the manosphere and to what my vision and my ideas are for their, what we do, and it worked amazing. It worked better than I ever fucking hoped it would. I mean, like you would hope it'd go nuts, but it was awesome.
Well, you've got on Piers Morgan. I mean, granted, it was a serious event, but the fact that you just did it as a giant fucking troll was awesome.
Well, then we actually did it though, so it is a troll and not a troll at the same time. That's what pissed them all off.
Dude, it's like the red pill equivalent of the GameStop stock guy.
Well,
you're literally just trolling it, and it actually ends up beautifully somehow.
Well,
it's awesome.
You can use trolling because what you're basically doing is creating like you're basically ripping the collective hymen of the left, right? And so when you rip that, they all scream at the same time. And when you have more than 100 metric tons of feminist large screaming, it's so loud everybody hears it. Like everybody hears it. So like there's a bunch of normies or whoever who would like your convention, who are anti-feminist, that would never have even seen your fucking face, but because you piss off all these little leftist fuckers, now they heard of you. So that's beautiful. It just makes me want to smoke a joint.
I'm just watching Dream on the interview, and on the bottom, it's randomly like 3-year-old boy dies in fire. I'm like, oh my God, damn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, damn. And this is why feminists caused it.
Right. Well, that's the misogyny of the gaps, which, by the way, was another video that I just did.
Well, we're looking here now, one of the news, and it was much bigger than this. It was New York Times, New York Post, but this is my biggest interview I did. But here's a video I want to pull up from Undead Chronic, if I could pull it up. That's way back in the day. Here it is. So roasting PUAs is not feminine. So number one, that is the whole issue I want to get into with all of you. Mm-hmm. But number two, you were confronting here Coach Greg, some of the things he said about you and this and that. My point is though, is like Coach Greg is. Now I want you to describe now in Undead Chronic what is in this video for my viewers. But on top of that, I know what's in it. I've seen a lot of it, almost all the whole video. It's basically Coach Greg taking heat or not being happy with, people criticizing his appearance, how tall he is, stuff like that, which I don't personally, I've met him. I don't fucking care what he looks like. I know, like
I don't think any content creator has ever roasted him for being short. So what that tells me is that
hang on. I have a major point here I want to make.
Oh, okay, go on.
You go. The major point is that if Coach Greg ends up on Good Morning Britain, Good Morning America, CNN tomorrow for some video he does, either with my company or his own podcast and stuff, the feminists and the fucking media are going to go after him for anything they can find. Dude, they went after not only me, I was getting death threats and shit. They went after my sister. She's a manager at a major theme park here in Orlando. She was a principal of a school, but even recently before that. And so they go after fucking anything they can find. Your family, your appearance, your looks, all this fucking shit. If he can't take it from you, I mean, you're a YouTube channel, you're a YouTuber, you have 15,000 subscribers. I think that's cool.
I'm a fly. I make fun of it.
If he can't handle the heat from you, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I've been through that. It's serious shit, dude. Some people melt down. They get fucking too berated and too attacked. You gotta understand how to have thick skin and get through it. But I can guarantee you, if he gets that kind of heat, man, that's gonna be a new level of roasting for him. That's 1,000 times bigger than what you've done.
Look, if they can't take roasting from the community, they can't take roasting from their enemies.
That's right.
Well, I mean, what I'll say is this: like the fact that he brought up his height. I mean, I haven't. Have you guys seen any content creators make fun of him for being short? I don't think that's a thing. People, So I think it was some commentary, right? So some random dude without a channel was able to trigger such an insecurity in him. He had to address it as if it was like one of us doing it. So, but the thing about the being roasted on YouTube versus what you had to go through, Dream Johnson. Look, man, everything I do is to guarantee I never have to have the experience you had, right? So like having someone colorfully explain the different levels of zinc flying in and out of your probably single mother household, like that's insulting. That makes you feel bad. But I'm not going to send a bunch of like black masked dudes to your fucking mom's house. The left will do that. They do that. They'll shoot at you. Go on, Ribby.
Hitting the nail on the head, Dream. Like Chronic and I we're comedy, we're roasting. Well, it's like locker room talk. Oh yeah, well, it's a bunch of jokes. To actually go after somebody and seriously like try and cancel, try and mess with them. No, that's like bad intentions. Whereas I feel like if you're a guy that's just joking around, you can get butthurt about it, but at the end of the day, it's just jokes. It's not like you're actually serious and trying to.
I have bad intentions. I go after people because I have bad intentions, but it's because they're fucking grifters. But that's because, but you also have to understand too that like,
you guys see that song I made?
Well, DDJ, like your bad intentions, like you're not trying to like, have someone assault a family member to scare them into silence.
No,
like our bad, like Chronic's bad intentions is to have someone cry cuck tears on a live stream. That's like that's how I want to hurt someone.
Right.
There's people. I mean, again, Dream Johnson just has to pull up some fucking emails. There's people out here that aren't fucking around with this that will put a bullet in someone. We had a men's rights lawyer get shot by a dude dressed up as a FedEx driver like a couple months ago in LA. Okay. I
never hear about that, dude.
Yeah, I can guarantee you,
like
we have no investigations. I guarantee you that dude was a feminist.
Well, he died. He died of COVID.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can comment on this further.
COVID.
It goes above and beyond
on the getaway.
It goes above and beyond the personal. So, I had the venue, for example, for our 2020 event we did in October, 21 Summit, that had the 22 convention at it and our men's event too, right? Now, the venue was hidden until Sunday night before the event that started on Thursday. So as soon as I sent the venue to the attendees, I knew there'd be a fucking bad apple, right? Some fucking stupid feminist chick would have a ticket, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as I sent the fucking
you just didn't know that feminist chick was one of your speakers.
I don't think so. I think it was an attendee. I'm pretty sure it was an attendee. Now, here's the point, though. They immediately, the next day on Monday, started calling the fucking venue to cancel us. Immediately. With the event 3 days out, they're calling the fucking manager, screaming at the general manager of a hotel. These people do millions of dollars of business. Like, they don't fucking care that much. So then they come talk to me. They're like, hey, like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's a bunch of stupid feminists and shit. Like, we're just kind of like a Trump event. Like, nobody cares. And thankfully, they were like, hey, we don't care what you believe. Just don't film the venue branding and stuff. It's no big deal.
Yep.
But the feminists really fucking tried to cancel a whole fucking conference that was set up for a fucking year with like 100 and some people flying out. They tried to they were screaming at these people on the phone like fucking banshees, man. They're crazy.
Well, I'm surprised.
That's hilarious,
I'm surprised they didn't cut and cancel. I'm saying I'm surprised they didn't cut and cancel. I mean, I'm sure you heard what happened at Tim Pool's event. They had to close the venue down. Yeah. So like choosing a venue to try to do this kind of thing.
Talks, bullshit walks.
Well,
when you have money in your pocket and they don't have your money yet, they'll do anything to get your money.
Oh yeah. So what I'm saying
you kind of hit the nail on the head. The fact that you got one angry Karen, one woman yelling at them versus a conference where they're bringing in money. It's not hurting anybody. It's just a mean opinion. They don't give a crap. You know what I mean? So I'm glad it worked out. But
all the hotels in Orlando were broke, so I was like the only conference in town. So they were always getting hounded to do the event everywhere. And then when you got money on the table, man, everybody's broke, everybody's hungry.
Well, and it's Florida, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. The problem is that like you look at somebody like Tim Pool, he's not going to choose the same type of venue that Anthony's going to choose. Like I've been to MythCon, for example, and I was in MythCon a couple of years ago. And they had like a bomb threat. They had to empty out the entire venue during the middle of the venue because somebody got upset about a bunch of, what a bunch of atheists said. There's a fat
feminist who ate Chipotle. She's about to shit. Run!
Right. Right. But I mean, it's just, and I've been the target of feminists as well. When my book first came out, feminists lost their fucking mind. Like I had death threats and everything. They thought that I was the one of the members of the old 80s band Devo because I told them I lived in Washington State. And so they found a Bob Lewis in Washington State. He was a 70-year-old man from fucking Devo. They edited his wiki to add my book, and then they started fucking trying to cancel him. And the guy's already fucking retired. He's a multimillionaire. He's like, go fuck yourself. So he just sent them some cease and desist from his attorney, and they all just crawled back under the table where the cockroaches belong.
Now, guys, I want to move the conversation on to something next here. Actually, back to the same video, but I want to focus on the actual title of the video.
Oh,
so not so much Coach Greg. He's said it, so we can say that. Others have said it too, though, right? Mm-hmm. So I think in the video you showed, and I've seen Coach Greg say it elsewhere, that like fighting is feminine, conflict is feminine. This is stupid fucking slander that people throw out. And I'm not necessarily calling Coach stupid because it's mostly in the comments, right? You see these I call them the beta male police, the BMP, the beta male police. Anytime you have conflict, they're like, oh, this is feminine, this is feminine. They don't explain it. They can't contextualize it. They have no reason to actually make the statement. They're just saying it, like lobbing it at you like fucking dog shit.
It's an ad hom attack.
It's an ad hom attack. So I'd like all of you to discuss, is fighting among men, is open conflict feminine or masculine? Like what the fuck is going on here?
It's masculine and it's necessary.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of going off that point, Dream. It's the kind of thing where would you respect a friend more who, if he has a problem, will go to your face and be like, look, man, we got to talk about some crap. Or the guy that literally, Ribby knows a couple guys are IRL, and they'll be like, oh, I'm non-confrontational. So you could have a guy come up and basically do whatever the hell he wants, and you're going to slink down in your seat and not have a spine. Or are you actually going to stand up for yourself and get crap done. So at the end of the day, even if it's two friends, like even if you throw hands with one of your boys, you're drunk, he's talking crap, you punch each other. At the end of the day, you're like, all right, man, like, yeah, we fought it out, whatever, we get over it. But to just act like anything, it's the same kind of argument where it's like Undead Chronic says woman with the body count of 50 don't deserve a good husband. He's just an incel. It's like that kind of argument where you're just throwing that out. Oh, you're feminine. Oh, you're an incel. It's reflecting the point with an insult rather than actually hearing it out. I think if you have a conversation, that's a way to do it. You know, I'll respect the guy more if he makes a good point. I'll take some criticism. Yeah. But if you can't take criticism, that sounds like a chick.
It's delusional too. When men fight, they don't try to typically, handle it privately. If you can, maybe. But what is the old thing, right? If you're out at a bar and someone fucks with you, what is it? Take it outside. Let's take it outside. A fucking group's gonna form. People are gonna be fucking clapping and cheering, fucking your shit faced, and you fucking fight. This is what men do. They fight in public, right? They fight in the open.
Right.
Women are the ones who do things behind the scenes. They backstab each other. They gossip. It's all fucking covert shit, which is everything these little fucking losers at CME talk about. No more, public fight. No more response videos. Let's keep it private. They're a bunch of fucking women. It's pathetic. It's disgusting.
And that's why I won't be surprised if you see these guys, talking, like doing a video talking about their sphinctioplasty because they've had so much shit in their ass. And to that point, I have a funny aside. So 2 years ago, I made this video that I was making fun of basically like the trash within the MGTOW community. And it was called The Ballad of Colostomy Bagged MGTOW. and it was just basically what part of the video. I haven't seen it in a while but if memory serves, part of the video was about how now sooner or later we're going to hear about some fucking retard walking in the MGTOW community saying yes, and here's my colostomy bag. Well, I'm not going to say who did it, but 6 months ago there was a guy in the MGTOW community who made a video showing off his colostomy bag. But that said, I think that you are correct. I mean, look. The manosphere should be with masculine men, and masculine men should have to deal with their problems together, whether you're young or old. I'm not saying everybody should throw hands all the time, but look, if you care about your friendships, if you care about your relationships, whether they're personal or professional, you have to be willing to confront them. And if you're doing something wrong and somebody confronts you, you have to be thick-skinned enough and you have to care about the relationship enough to go, okay, I see where you're going. I mean, TFM and I worked together for 2 years. And when I tried to bring things to his attention outside it didn't work. So when I publicly aired it, all of a sudden, it was World War III when it shouldn't have been. So, and there's other people that I've had disagreements with online who, I still talk to, but we've had public disagreements and we've figured out a way to work them out. But the second that you try to do this feminist Game of Thrones, communist backstabbing, entryist bullshit, nothing works.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing about,
go ahead.
The whole thing about fighting being feminine is like what's really being fighting. What these guys are meaning is like disagreeing with us in public. Like that's what the fighting is. So from my perspective, it just looks like what's our issue with these people? We think that they're just trying to steal money from men. Okay. Yeah. What would a scam artist say? Have you ever met a scam artist? Yeah.
I was married to two.
Yeah, well, like imagine this, man. I mean, you see it at protests too. Like you see a woman walk up and slap and slap and slap, and as soon as a man retaliates, all of a sudden everybody's about the peace, right? Yep. So you can see these cuck around, make videos, ask for money, but as soon as someone has a problem with it, they're like, why don't you just talk to us behind closed doors? I'm like, look, man, it's fucking YouTube, and like maybe I'll respect some YouTubers. But these dudes LARPing like alphas, like, bro, you're on fucking YouTube. If you feel like a zombie roasting your fat ass, roasting the fat that you get to pay for whores is getting attacked, then holy shit, you're going to have a very, very hard time once this whole corrupt republic falls. They're going to really, I'm being attacked. Like, fucking just, okay, whatever. I mean, that shark mama meme. Oh, God, so bad. Oh.
Well, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be like that guy in Sweden. So there was a couple of years ago, there was an issue in Sweden where the immigration was getting crazy. They had, black market weapons being shipped into Sweden.
What do they have? They have too many whites coming in?
That's what it was.
Country, like, come on.
That's what it was. So this politician was walking home from some political meeting. He was like a party politician, and he's walking home, and he gets sexually assaulted. And like they totally just turn him out. And so what ends up happening is that he used what I like to refer to as the CME, problem solving skills.
Oh no.
He refused to identify his attacker because he didn't want his attacker to get deported.
No, he wanted a second date. That's what he
Correct.
wanted.
Yeah,
Oh
correct.
my god.
Correct.
Oh, I
Well,
love
here's the
that
thing. I look at Sweden, and my favorite thing is people go, Swedes aren't cucks. Look at this Swedish YouTuber that goes to the gym. It's just like, okay,
Right.
that's
Well,
the
didn't a
last.
Swedish guy marry Mia Khalifa for a bit?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I rest my
a
case.
Swedish cuck married Mia Khalifa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's not get into that. Let's just talk about arguing and being feminine. No, Dream Johnson. I think that disagreeing with someone in public is. I mean, now if you're good friends with someone and you just come out and roast the shit out of them and you don't try to talk them behind, okay, I can understand that. But
Sure.
do any of these dudes think I'm friends with them? Like, I'm not friends. I'm friends with Ribby. That's about it. Ribby and Dale. You know, so like these dudes are literally just random fucking boomers on YouTube. Like,
Yep.
I'm just if they cuck and I make fun of cucks and that's what I do on YouTube, what better target to roast cucks than a bunch of cucks who are LARPing as if they're red pill? I mean, no, this is the best. It's literally this dude saying he's going to teach you how to game women, and he's married to
This
a
guy, this
the
guy's
bovine.
gonna teach you how to make game.
Yeah,
women.
dude. Let me say, I got to interrupt for a sec.
This alpha
Any
male.
man that was incarcerated, he's not obese here. Oh wow, any man that blue pill passed, any man that was incarcerated and obese and probably broke in his prime, in his 30s, 40s, where you think he'd be getting laid and stuff, just forget about it. Like if these guys were literally like self-made men, if they were like, I started my own company from scratch, my net worth is this, I'm married to a couple models, whatever, then I
Well,
kind of
Ribby-
understand it. But
Ribby, I got a
dude,
question. If
yeah.
you went to jail, Ribby, do you get out of jail fat or do you get out of jail jacked? Like,
Ripped.
damn, if
Dude,
you went
who
to
comes
jail
out of
and you
jail
lose
fat?
weight, how do you fuck you go? Like, how do you go to jail and not come back jacked? You got nothing to do but push-ups.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know, man.
Take
But-
it, Johnson. What you gotta say here?
Yeah, so I'm just going through some of the chats. I do want to pull up something that I thought that we were talking about earlier. We're talking about the tickets, the pricing, how fucking absurd it is, the cash grab, the money that these guys are being bribed with, which is fucking pennies, like it's nothing, right?
Mhm.
But here's what else no one's talking about. I mentioned it a little bit. So in 2020, when the media was after me, right, they were all going bananas, attacking me, the feminists, the media and shit. They were focused on the conference. They weren't focused on the long-term product of the conference, which is the videos, right? At least at 21 Studios, 21 Convention, we invest like a shit ton of money into filming the speeches, 3 angles, 4 camera angles, 5 camera angles sometimes. It's like a TED Talks for men. And my channel has over 2,000 videos now that are free, right? And most of those, a lot of those anyway, are full speeches. They're premium videos that you could otherwise, people could, you know, and speakers over the years have pushed me to do that, even shareholders I have, to take the free videos down, put it all behind a fucking paywall, which I think is gay. I don't like that. That's not how I started the company. That's not what made it famous. It's not why it's badass. So I want to point this out. This is from 2009, our event trailer from 2009. This was republished in 2011, but it came out in 2009 for the 2009 event. And our videos since 2007, never mind 2009, have been free to the world. And no one's fucking talking about that with the CME thing. All those videos that they're going to film are going to be put behind a fucking $800, $900, $1,500 fucking paywall for content that is already available anyway on their YouTube channels. I seen guys in the chat talking about that, right? It's all free on the YouTube channels anyway. You're right. The difference is what I'm doing is our speeches are free to the world. That's the point. So they can reach millions of men like we do with our speeches to fucking actually make an impact on the world. And their event doesn't do that because it's a fucking cash grab. If they actually gave a shit about what happens to men and fathers and boys and culture and masculinity, the videos would be free to the fucking world. And he would defend that to the bone and to the death like I do. I've had dozens of speakers and shareholders, a few I have in my company, push me over years, multiple times, to stop publishing the videos for free, just on YouTube and shit. And I say, go fuck yourself. I might hear them out, honestly, a little bit. And then I'm like, no, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm going to keep doing what I love and what I fucking care about and what I believe in, which is free to the world. So their event doesn't do that. And that's another reason, you know, it's a fucking cash grab and it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, and Dream, that's the whole point. You're cutting off a massive section, like especially the younger guys. You got like a teenager, kid in college. He's not going to be able to do that. And that's the most important thing, I think, because you're looking to try and, you know, let the new generation know what's good. But yeah, 100% a cash grab.
I think these young teenage Brutas, though, they're gonna look at two pieces of content, right? Let's say they look at this 21 convention it's fucking whatever, CME, this Vegas conference, right? And they see like 1 or 2 videos, and it's literally a 60, I don't even know how old he is. It's Santa cuck saying, I'm going to teach you how to be a gentleman. And
You're
then
gonna
they
laugh.
go and see that the leader of that conference is dating an obese fat white woman. Okay,
Yep.
despite being a black supremacist, which is very, I don't square that circle for me. Why does a black supremacist want a half white kid? I mean, shit, Donovan Sharp's basically half white himself. He gets with a white bitch and has a kid. I don't think he can.
Who's
but if he
taking
did,
tons of
it'd be white.
sausage? His
Yeah,
wife's
She's
too
too
but,
old.
fine.
Yeah, she has no egg. Her eggs are all dried up. She's like,
well, it's not
40,
even
40
that.
years
If you take a lot of exogenous testosterone for years on end, you basically infertile, right? But
Mhm.
they're gonna look. Teenage guys are gonna look at that Las Vegas conference. I know teenage dudes. They're gonna be like, "What a bunch of out of touch fucking boomer bitches." And then they look at people roasting them. Maybe there's more of it. So honestly, all these cucks self quarantining is helping me and Ribby make content. So like it's almost like this is like it's a bad disaster. It's like there's like an airplane crashing, but all the journalists are going out to take pictures. Me and Ribby are just going out to laugh at the cucks.
Would you say that they're showing Undead? Would you say that they're showing you their true colors, like Aaron Clary and Terrence Pop? I mean, you were fans of these guys recently,
I don't
right?
really
Now you're
know
frustrated.
Aaron Cleary, so I can't really comment on that. As for Pop,
Mhm.
I really do think his main motivation is he's so one track mindset on not getting veterans to kill themselves that he's willing to go anywhere to spread the message. And this is how I say about that. I'm like, okay, Pop, spreading this message is like, it's like he's teaching kids how to swim, teaching veterans not to pull the trigger. There's thousands of pools. He could do his own conference. Like if he did his own conference, if he just flew to New York City and interviewed veterans on Times Square, that like 2-hour stream will do so much more than associating with these cucks. So instead of like doing his own thing or joining someone else or whatever, he's deciding to swim in a giant pool of shit. It's a sewage plant. And I'm like, bro, why are you swimming in the sewage plant? He's like, I'm gonna teach kids how to swim anywhere. I'm down. I'll spread the message anywhere. I'm like, but why are you standing alongside a black supremacist, bro? You're white.
Well,
you look like a racial cuck. I don't get it.
Well, yeah, and let's take that a step further, right? How many suicidal veterans are going to the conference? And and let's be honest,
I'll commit suicide if I have to see these cucks.
yeah. And to that point, if you have 5 or 6 suicidal veterans heading to the conference, odds are they're armed and they're getting ready to make the news. Maybe you don't want to go anyway.
Oh, damn. Took a turn. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's, I don't know. I think the biggest, because I was kind of Ribby, like, man, how should we really, like, could we get a couple dudes to, like, stand outside with the cucking made easy signs? How would that do?
No, this is
how
what we
would you
do,
really mess
Chronic.
them?
I told you.
Well-
we got a Kickstarter, right?
Uh-huh.
Every donation goes to renting out a billboard in the greater Las Vegas area. So when they land in for the conference, it's a billboard of Donovan Sharp's wife in like a one piece in like a bikini.
Why don't you just
and then we get a cease and desist from the city of Las Vegas, Nevada. They're like, please take the billboards down. The city's going blind.
why don't you just hire a couple gay male strippers to strip it right in the middle of their opening thing?
So yeah, I mean, it's all about the cost and like what you actually want to do. So like, do I actually want to send people to crash their conference? I'm honestly, I decided no, but I'm undecided about that because I'm just like, man, how funny would it be if I just like let all the major feminist clubs from all those universities know where that's going to happen? I'm like, look, if you want to LARP like Red Pill, I'm going to goddamn make sure you get treated like Red Pill by the larger community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I'll just tell Pop beforehand, hey man, bring some cameras, bring a GoPro, because there's gonna be a lot of fat chicks screaming at you as you're trying to get inside this damn hotel.
Yeah.
Dude, they'd love that. Donovan would be like, see what I mean, boys? Oh,
You're getting all the good pussy here.
I would
what
never
can
I
what
would
I can
never
add
wish
to this,
feminists
though-
on my worst enemy.
Let's look at, so we're talking about Pop, and I think this is interesting to hit on because you did bring up, he was even on my channel commenting publicly, responding to me as well as other commenters just in general. Let me pull up a picture of Pop here for you guys. Here he is. Oh no, we got this retard down in Miami, but close enough. Well, we did. Let's see what we got here.
You having a boomer moment? What's going on?
We got a lot going on here. We got here's Pop in the middle.
Says the old man.
Right. Anyway, so the thing
blah.
you mentioned Pop though, the single track thing, and I've seen him commenting about that. The issue that I take with that is you can't utilize that to take some sort of fake moral high ground that you're going to have no standards of how you're going to conduct business and who you're going to work with. Like if Donovan was a convicted pedophile and just got out of jail for 15 years for being a pedophile and actually molesting children, would you speak at his conference? The answer, no. If Bernie Madoff got out of jail and put together a fucking fatherhood conference or some shit, would you be like, oh, sign me up? Like, no, you don't want to work with Bernie Madoff. You don't want to work with a pedophile.
Yeah.
So where's the fucking line? How do you draw it?
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like it's more of just a bad business decision on Pop's side. It's just like the cuckage honestly, it's already got for me and for a lot of my subs. The damage is done. Like we've been making videos out for a while. I've never directly reached out to Pop per se, but I mean, like all you got to do is, I mean, I'll link the video to him, man. Like Donovan Sharp is pretty much saying that blacks have superior genes. Like,
whoa.
Dude,
the funniest thing is his argument. Like he's like, blacks have superior genes for game because look at the NBA. It's so funny.
And ignoring the fact that they represent the largest demographic in the homosexual community. But the thing is I have a lot of respect for Pop. But I think that the reality is that you are who you associate with.
Mm. Yeah, let's talk about the black homosexual community thing, because I think there's a lot of, you can say that and it'll give off a very particular vibe. And you go some parts of Atlanta, you'll definitely get that vibe. But let us recognize that the majority of black sons, black boys are raised in a single parent household.
Yep.
Right. And when you're in a single parent household, single mother sluts looking for a new wallet, a new chat, and whoever. What happens? You have a bunch of vulnerable young boys being exposed to sexually mature men who don't care about them. That is the perfect situation for an event to happen that will lead to such child becoming homosexual. So, I mean, I haven't looked at the stats, but if you just told me that, I don't know, if you're in a single mother household, you're 5 times more likely to get molested as a young child. And we all know, like, I think I don't want to say half, let's just say a third conservatively of gay males were sexually abused as children. That kind of, these trends will add up just by the numbers, man. It could explain it. I also know that black men have higher estrogen levels than other ethnicities, right?
Well,
so
right.
It's a combination of factors, but I don't know. Just saying like, oh, we all know blacks have the highest case. I'm just like, this is the couple, I don't know. As a scientist, I feel the urge to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have some stats. It's 39% as far as the homosexual community is concerned.
That were touched as children?
No, that are part of the homosexual community. And I believe it's somewhere close to 50% of the homosexual community decided they were homosexual after they were victimized as children. Mm-hmm. And as far as the black community is concerned, as far as single parent households, approximately 75% of African-American households are single parents. Now, what's interesting is this. Back in the 1960s, when Martin Luther King was running around and doing his little civil rights thing, the African-American community had a higher intact family rate than the Caucasian community. The black community was like 70% and the Caucasian community was like 67%. And so, you hit on a really good point because, and I talk about this, hashtag shill alert from my book, The Feminist Lie, which happens to be right behind Anthony. One of the things I talk to you about in my book is that if you are raised in a single parent household, you are more likely to have mental health issues. You are more likely to have substance abuse issues. You are more likely to be a criminal. In fact, the single biggest indicator of whether or not a child will grow up and become a criminal as an adult is whether or not they were victimized as a child. Mm-hmm. And so you have all these different issues here, and even the women. So like if a girl is raised in a single parent household, she will sexually mature faster. And you know how like they talk about how people, when they're suffering psychologically and they have depression and they like take a razor blade and they like cut their arms or legs or, they're cutters, right? Mm-hmm. Well, girls in single parent households do the same thing with premarital sex. They basically, self-mutilate with partners.
I do agree that, because if a woman grows up without a father, the epigenetic signals, basically the signals that control, it's like the way you can control your genes without actually changing, without actually changing your basis, right? The girl's body's telling her like, hey, there's no men in your tribe. That's a problem. You should probably know them, And so, I think it's on an average, it's like a year and a half. I think it's 14 months is a woman's raised without a father will enter her first menarche, right? Her period.
Yes.
But I would say too, man, like women who are raised by weak fathers, it's almost like it's biology. It's like a continuum, right? So it's like no
Right.
father, weak father, good father. All these leftist bitches, me and Ribby are literally vaulting into left and right. All these burning girls I'm smashing, they got daddies. They just cuck daddies that think that, they should send their daughter to college. And then I give them a reward of a green-skinned bastard.
A tip for you boys out there in the chat: if you're swiping on Tinder, some local artsy chick at your college, be like, "Yeah, what do you think of your dad?" She's, "Oh, I hate my freaking dad." Be like, "Okay, no
Me
gag
too.
reflex. Check."
I hate the bitch too.
Yeah.
So, guys, I
So,
want to
I mean-
refocus the conversation a little bit. Back action, a video that came out on Undead's channel just the other day. Let's pull it up. So you put why Undead Chronic is leaving Manosphere.
Oh,
So talk to me about the contents of this, and more importantly, like, what is your view on the state of the Manosphere currently, especially given the grifting and the course grifting and the shaming and the guilt for liking and super chatting, all this crap? Like, what do you think about where it's at right now versus where it was and where it should go in the future?
well, I think everybody that says the manosphere is faltering or dying, either from our side or their side, is just it's grown so much. Like we got teenagers saying simp on fucking TikTok now. That's because of us, guys. That's really because of us. Like that's a culture change. That word, it's really because of us. So it's not failing. It's not faltering. Just go through evolutions. Like you had like the old guard, the new guard, whatever it is, however you want to just classify them. I think it's more like individual content creators either making decisions to cuck or leave. And for me, it was like a two-angled push. First one was I try to make it a series, but when you have your channel deleted so many times, you kind of lose your playlists. And I kind of, I just got lazier. So I don't really do any of the professional YouTube stuff. It's a very lazy channel. But I would do like a Red Pill Crusades. And basically it was just me responding to pickup artists that said they were red pilled and they were using it to, this whole conversation using the language to convince people to buy their classes, right? And it pissed me off. I'm like, these guys aren't red pill. And I did that so much. I'm like, who are the red pill dudes? Like, who are the people like pushing forward red pill? And I was kind of like, I saw me, Taylor, and Ribby. And I'm like, if we're the minority here, if there's so many scam artists, and not even just that, like, if you go to ask most people red pill, they think of the red pill subreddit, right? So they think red pill, emotional manipulation / seductive techniques, which is, but that red pill subreddit was pretty much how to get as much pussy as possible. And some of it worked, it's not really under that content. So it was a push on the red pill guys who are pickup artists. And then, we did a stream with Sandman and TFM 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago, right, Ribby?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 4-hour stream. Very interesting conversation. Pretty much just how should I say? It made me decide that stream. I was like, well, it was a good stream. It was slightly contentious, but I basically argued with these two, probably the biggest. I would say there's probably two of the biggest MGTOW content. I mean, definitely Sandman's. Everybody would say he's top 3. I don't know, but I argued with them for like an hour and a half about like sex bots and how they want to. I think one of them wanted to like project an thought like an girl on the face of a sex bot. Another person was like saying, well, at one point I got called thirsty because I fucked real women. And at that point I was like, that was kind of like, because I had my boy over, a scientist who's not YouTube affiliated at all. He's actually one of the few people that knows who Undead Chronic is. And my boy's like, he's just looking at me like, bro, who the fuck are these people, man? And I kind of have the same kind of thing. I'm like, so like on the red pill side, pickup artists, and honestly on the MGTOW side, what they choose to do for themselves, like however you want to substitute women, I support you, right? I just don't understand people's need. It's almost like you make enough content, you see yourself as a messiah almost, and like, I'm going to solve the world's problems. Everybody needs to get this or use this as a substitute good. I'm just not, that's why I'm not MGTOW. I think everybody should have their own choice whether or not they want to have kids. I'm not going to say no one should get married. I'm going to say marriage sucks. Why the fuck would you get married? I'm not going to, but if somebody's just like, I weigh the decisions, I know all the risk factors and all that stuff, and I want to get married and have kids, I'm not going to tell him he's a cuck for that. That's his choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going off that Chronic, in the end of the day, sex bots, real chicks, smash and dash, monk. We're here to kind of recommend, but we're not going to say, like, if you don't have sex bots, if you smash a real human woman, that's wrong, or you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like we're very kind of keeping it lighthearted, keeping it. You don't have to be so serious and so.
But, yeah, I would say the
Yeah.
actual the leaving of the Manosphere. It's just literally the war band, which is like me, Ribby, and Taylor, me and the two dudes I wanted to start making content with. It's just us saying, we're sick of being there's so many cucks in the Manosphere. There's so many scammers in the Manosphere. Like, look, man, I don't need to be called Red Pill or MGTOW or Manosphere to roast bitches. I could literally just roast I could just start roasting random shit I see on YouTube. Probably want to be as popular. I mean, who knows? But that's what we're really here is for comedy. We're not here to like fucking solve the world's problems. But how about you guys respond? We've been going off for a bit.
Yeah, no. Listen, I think you're right. I think that the problem with the Manosphere, the state of the Manosphere is that you have too many cults of personality and you have too many people who are pushing too many agendas that are based on their financial agenda, right? Mm-hmm. So, while I know that, TFM is down for his sex doll and that's like his choice and that's great. I also know that, he gets some kind of affiliate kickback for that. So there's a financial incentive there as well. And I would assume that probably Sandman does in addition to that. But, Sandman, and I'm not saying this as an insult, Sandman has told me, he's schizoid. So he doesn't necessarily need to have the socialization that the normal male does. So
that's very interesting. I think the biggest, I just want to comment on that stream again. I don't want to come off as an asshole. I think the biggest thing is for Sandman, at least, he's not really a streaming YouTuber. You know what I mean?
No, he's not.
So for him, at least, I just gave him a blank card. I'm like, look, whatever he said to me that I might have misinterpreted as bad, the dude makes solo content all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with TFM. Like TFM runs a show all the time. So he's very used to having to keep Spurge and lock or whatever it is.
Well,
so I think it was just a poor stream in like there's actual mechanics of the stream. Like it is the first time we streamed together also. It's not like a full like these guys suck. It's more just like
no. I don't and I'm not taking that from it. And frankly, I don't, if you said that, I wouldn't agree with that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that you make a valid point in that, if you're on YouTube for a certain period of time, or you have a certain level of subscribers, or you have a super high level of engagement with a certain demographic of your subscribers, right? Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to not become hubris. So think about it this way, right? Let's say you had no social life. You were a nerd as a kid. You didn't socialize with anybody as a kid. You came from a broken home, whatever the situation is, right? And you've never been popular. You've never been the popular kid. You get on YouTube, you make a bunch of content, and now all of a sudden overnight you're popular. You're going to hold on to that popularity as much as you can, and you're going to fight for it with your dear life because that's that external validation that we talk
strokes
about.
The ego.
But it strokes your ego. And I'm not saying that like, I'm not disparaging anybody who goes through that, because it's the same thing about the guy who's poor all his life and then he wins the lotto. Right now he's at like $100 million. Most of those guys are bankrupt within 10 years because they don't know how to handle the success. The same is true for many people in the red pill community. You look at people like Rollo Tomasi. He didn't know how to handle his success.
Rollo Tomato.
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't know how to handle his success, and his hubris got the best of him. Okay, you look at Needle Rick Cooper. Same thing. Didn't know how to handle his success. And now he's charging $2,000 for an hour for phone sex or whatever.
Is that rich? Is that the Entre Cucks and Cars?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's me and Ribby standard. Okay.
He's here on the bottom left down here.
If you have ever dated a single mother, you're not. There's just no respect. Like at 18, at 16, I knew I was never. Ribby, how old were you? You knew you didn't want to date a single mother. What the fuck is going on?
The second I knew they existed, it's kind of like we were watching. I was at a sleepover. I was like 9, 10 years old, and then we're watching The Ring. We're watching It. We're watching The Shining. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of scary. And then one of my boys goes, "Hey, Ribby, there's something out there called a single mother." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then I'm like, "No, bro, no, you're messing with me." They get knocked up at 16 and they want commitment from a Chad. I'm like, no, it can't be. And
my assessment of Richard Cooper is literally we have another boomer who he's not fat. That's about it. Hits arms about once a week, maybe chest once a week. Uses his I call them shitty BMWs because buying that many BMWs, I just feel like is a shitty decision. But that's just personal. So like you're a car guy. That's
because BMWs are a dime a dozen compared to other like actual luxury cars. BMWs are like a meme.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, like I'm more of a biker, so like I drive shitty car. Like if you hear my videos, I'm talking about like 1992 Chevys, and but like I don't care. Like I just cars, whatever. Probably because growing up a bit poor, when you grow up, you don't really you're seeing a bunch of shitty cars. You're like, I can't afford any of that shit. But using cars and just his face to get the subs, it kind of proves to me that there's a lot of they're not red pill guys. They're just dudes who are open to guys kind of holding women responsible, right? So, I mean, even if he's talking to hundreds of thousands of people, if he's just driving around saying that you guys shouldn't date single mothers, well, maybe he kind of spreads the anti-single mom message a little bit, but as soon as he tries to act like an expert, as soon as he starts charging people for calls, I'm like, hold on, bitch. You've dated multiple single mothers. It's just like, yeah. I never fucked a bitch who had a kid. Ribby, have you fucked a bitch who had a kid?
No.
I've never fucked a
Hell
bitch who had a
no,
kid.
dude.
Well,
Exactly.
right, but I guess where I was going with that, I mean, we kind of went into Tangentville a little bit.
Sorry,
Where I was
yeah,
no, that's fine. But I guess where I was going with that is that you get a lot of these people out here who, you know, maybe they're acting in good faith, whether it's, you know, PUA, dating coach, you know, masculinity, neo-masculinity, MGTOW, whatever it is, you know, they start out with good intentions, they do really well, and then for whatever reason, their hubris gets the best of them, and they either become shills or they become the thing that they themselves said they would never do, you know. And that's the thing. Like, you'll see some of these people, like, you look at their content from 2 or 3 years ago, and they're like, look, you run across this type of person, you run for the hills, right? Well, then you turn around and 2 years later, and they are acting in the exact same way that they said they would never act. Now, I understand it as I see it.
I was gonna say, it's kind of like that Batman quote. You either die red pill or you live long enough to see yourself get
Wait,
cut.
can you pull up the picture of you guys, all three of you standing in front of 21 Studios? Okay, Ribby, I hate it when people literally. Okay, look at this. Look at cuck in the right, cuck on the right. Okay, this dude has such little bicep definition. He's got to use the entire little phalanges to try to push his bicep up.
Well, look at the skin, the dead skin on the left arm.
Well, no, I think he got burned. He got burned as a kid. He got burned some.
Oh, great! So he's coached.
Asshole, you're an asshole, bro. How you make fun of burn victims?
I
just fucked up.
These are my former business partners. They were standing right here. I'm standing right now. I know these guys. They were former business partners of mine. I know them really well. They're both losers of women, including, you know, Cooper. I can confirm that from firsthand observation. He's brutally shitty with women. That's the fraud column.
Who's on the left? Who's I roasted everybody in that picture then. Damn.
Yeah,
Rolo, dude. Yeah, dude, get them all in. Well, here's the other thing too.
Rolo's an even bigger loser than Cooper, though. Cooper is less retarded. Rolo has like zero social skills. Cooper could at least have a beer and like talk to you like almost a normal person. But Rolo's just a fucking complete weirdo. My sister met him and called him a fucking alien.
Rich is
an alien. Dude,
Anthony. Rich probably could be cool with you. Yeah, Rich could probably be cool with you because he probably wanted to sleep with you.
Probably, yeah.
Gross. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing.
The other thing I was gonna say, Donna Cuck Shart loves single mothers. I watched one of his videos a couple days ago. He's like, oh yeah, and when you're dating these hot smoke show 45-year-old single mothers, yeah, they'll give it up real easy. I'm like, dude, if you have a track record of dating single mothers and you claim to be the king of the manosphere, the king of red pill,
the king of
have absolutely zero respect for you. Zero.
I've heard him called the King Kong of fraud. Actually, is what he is now. The King Kong of fraud. The King Kong of single mothers too. That's pretty good.
Dude, my grandpa used to have a good expression, right? If I'm part from the Emerald Isle, right? The fast talking Irish.
I'm part amphibian.
Yeah, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. You know what I mean? Like if Ribby knows, he'll talk a lot of game, talk a lot of this, you know, joke around. I look at this guy. It's like a snake oil salesman. You could smell his BS half a mile away, dude. So full of it. And these guys too. Look at him flexing so hard in that picture, pushing the arms up.
Let's talk about oils right now, right? So like you guys know essential oils. You guys know essential oil bitches.
Yeah.
So basically, Dream, you've met them in Florida, bro. Half of Florida is essential oil land. Got them bitches walking around the damn.
And that's where Mrs. Sharp Mama came from. She came from Florida. She's a Florida woman.
Yeah,
Florida, right?
these people will say that essential oil will cure anything, right? So like Donovan Chart, my philosophy will help you train a woman and keep her loyal to you. Okay, if I can give a pill, if I told you guys that I had a pill that would keep a bitch loyal to you, I would be showing my face on YouTube because I'd be so fucking rich. It wouldn't matter. Right? So this is like essential oils. These red pill pickup artists, scam artists, whatever they are, they're selling essential oil. Well, let me tell you something about essential oil. We just had a study coming out that says 15% of all seizures in the United States is linked to essential oils. Think about that. That's actually billions of dollars of healthcare costs because dumb bitches are selling their dumb bitch friends essential oil. That's what.
But can you imagine? But can you imagine having sex with a chick and having her have a seizure at the same time? I mean, that's like something to write home about, right?
I mean,
Oh
like
my
I don't
God,
know. I
dude.
guess it depends on like the kind of seizure and whether or not like
Right,
her puniti
right.
Hope
clamps.
we're not getting a
but, like,
blowy. She bites down. Oh,
Yeah, you'd be
God,
done.
no.
You'd be done.
No tears.
you know, maybe that's why we need the sex dolls, so we can like pour some water on the plug-ins or just having a seizure, and you're just like, oh yeah, now this is the kind of bitch I want, cerebral palsy bitch, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like I think that for certain guys who, their true force loneliness and things like that, I think those guys, I think sex dolls would be good for those guys. But I think that if you start, treating your sex doll like Wilson from Castaway, and you give it a personality and everything else, I wonder about that. Like, because not only you create an echo chamber, but I think that, you're potentially going to create other mental health problems for yourself. And I think that that's, in the long term, I think that the ramifications of that are potentially extremely unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you're still simping for puniti. It's just plastic. That's the only difference.
That's right. That's right.
I'm more like pro doll for I have like 3 reasons. First reason is I'm just supporting the industry because I know in 20, 30 years, like eventually there will be a sex doll that will get DDJ and Anthony Johnson, like, running out the door. This is a fact. Like you can't imagine it now, but like if you told a knight back in the day, hey man, your great grandson's going to be driving around in a steel horse, and it lives off of extracted dinosaur plants. They're going to be like, well, first they're just going to burn you to the stake because you're a fucking witch. But it's incomprehensible. But the idea, I do agree, there are some like. You could say it's not like you feel bad for them because you don't want to come off as shaming dudes that are lower value than you on a sexual marketplace, because what that really comes off is you're going to evaluate a man based on whether or not women want to sleep with him. Me and Ribby know women are stupid thoughts, so that's a bad standard. But there are dudes
come off like a prick. I mean, it's just stupid.
Well, every woman's promiscuous if you catch her on the right day.
Yeah.
And we got a comment I wanted to hit. A couple of us could hit. So I'll pull it up here and I'll read it and then I'll pop off on it. Gary Gunn says, will Undead say it on stream and endorse anyone paying $2K going to 21 convention? Will they? So before Undead hit this, hang on. First of all, number one, our videos are free to the world. If you don't want to go to our conference, I don't fucking care. Number one, don't fucking go. Keep your money. Unsubscribe. Hit dislike. Leave a nasty comment and get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking care. I don't need you. You don't matter to me. Number two, again, you can watch the videos for free. They're filmed now in 4K. Super ultra mega HD at 3 or 4 camera angles, published for free, right? So if you're patient, you can watch them the whole fucking conference for free, paying nothing, thanks to me, my decisions, the speakers who work with me, and then YouTube, even Suzanne Wojcicki, who I don't, she's a piece of shit for sure. But she runs the platform, and at least for now, until we get banned or whatever, like Molly knew, we can publish the videos for free, and YouTube makes that, facilitates that for now. Mm-hmm. So these people bitching about what we do, fuck them. Number two, our tickets open at $9.99, $1,000, and you can bring a friend free. So you pay $500 a person if you want for a 4-day fucking conference. These CME fucking weirdos, these fucking grifter losers, they're charging like $2,000 for a 2-day event. Our shit's 4 days long and costs you $500 if you bring a buddy. $500 for a 4-day conference that's run professionally by me, who's a fucking awesome at this. I've been doing it for 15 years. Donovan's never run an event in his entire fucking life. He has no idea what he's doing. He's poking his dick around in the dark like some kid losing his virginity. He doesn't fucking
Dude, Donovan's never run more than 50 yards in his whole life. Look at him.
I know. So that's my take on this. But so these people bitching, like, this is fundamentally different. What I've been doing is fucking awesome, and it's all free.
Well, let me respond to that one.
Yeah, let him hit it.
Yeah, my first thing would be like, I don't even know the prices, whatever. Second thing is, would I endorse anybody paying to go to that? I would never pay. But that's because I'm anonymous, right? Now, what did I roast the CME for? I think primarily I roasted them for that. Like, I think if they didn't put out that cringe ass trailer and they just kept it all online on the website, I literally would have never even heard about it. I roast Cuckhead. Are you guys thinking that, like, here's the thing, like, people, I knew this would happen. I'd go on a stream with Johnson, and some people are like, well, I gotta take the sides. I'm like, I don't even remember what I said, but I fucking tried to roast him. Like, I roasted him. So, like, and he had me on a stream. So maybe if Donovan Sharp had me on a stream with him and took some like punches live and responded,
It'll never
it'd be a
happen.
little bit more fair.
No.
But like,
Dude, Undead, it's
I don't
like I
know,
told
like-
you. I don't care that you. I like your channel. I like your.
Well, I'm saying,
content.
like, most- I think most of what I-
is immaterial.
yeah, most of what I respond, I'm just responding to the cringe. I think honestly, it was who was this? Jack Murphy. I saw you had Jack Murphy on because he likes to flex like an alpha, and that's what made me want to
Yeah.
really. Because I was actually trying to roast Jack
Mhm.
Murphy, and that's the thing that's what triggered me when I saw him on your channel. I was like, fuck, this guy's got Jack Murphy and Bull Cuck. Because like actually, so I think you did a service to me. You're like collecting all these dudes together. I'm like, oh, perfect.
I mean, I'll say this too. The 21 convention, people think I'm like super vetting the speakers, and it's not like that. I should do background checks, obviously. Had I known in
Some hobo on the
2019, dude, I didn't. I look at their channels, I look at their content. I do
There's
some
like
basic
homeless
research,
people coming
obviously.
on. I got my dick in my hand. What the
But
fuck?
I
Get him out of
didn't.
here.
I didn't. You know, nobody knew. I think not me, not anyone else. That Donovan had a history of financial identity theft. Like, what the fuck? That was
Oh,
way.
yeah.
I knew
Dude,
he
props
had
to
the
you.
cocaine.
You did your research.
Yeah,
on
that
him,
you
know?
you were the one. Yeah, you literally were the one that. I mean, as I said, I'm a very lazy YouTube channel. You were the one that brought all this shit to us. So thank you very much for bringing the
Welcome.
evidence forward.
Yeah, I care about the community. I care about the manosphere. I found this when I was 17 years old in high school in 2005. I didn't start my business as a business. It was a hobby project for like 3 years. I was running this conference for free, making nothing off of it because I loved doing it. And it was a lot of fun. And people were like, hey, you should keep doing it. I didn't turn it into a business. I started in 2006. It didn't become a business until 2010, January. So for like, 3.5 years, it wasn't even a business. Like
Well,
I'm the
yeah.
grassroots. I went out picking up chicks with fucking balloon hats on, like some fucking stupid pickup artist, right? But that's
Dude,
how I got.
here's the thing.
Those
So
are my
we
licks,
were all
man. I
there.
took my
It's
licks.
all right. We
Yeah.
all did
Yeah.
some shit.
Dude, if you could pick up hammered, making a fool of yourself, not even caring, not even trying, that is true game. Like if you have to study women, here are these psychological tips so you could try and manipulate them.
Yeah, you
like
already
you're the
failed.
freaking Riddler. It's like, dude, that's who cares. If you're jacked, if you're a decent guy, if you got game and don't give a crap, you could come in blackout drunk and clean up.
I mean,
Like
there's
if you have it in you.
there's some like devious things you can do to like get hotter bitches on your dick, but
Mhm.
like if that's your main, like that, it can't be your main kind of, it's like a side move. It's like a little, it's like a, you pull it out randomly. It's like, if a girl rejects you, just like ask for her best friend's number, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
like,
classic
find the
going to
best
the
friend or find two frenemy girls at the bar and then tell one of them that the other one asked you on a, to a formal party. That's all you gotta do. Find a frenemy, say, oh, that chick asked me to the next date party. It's like instant pussy on your dick. But that's like, am I really going to make YouTube videos about like how to get easy sorority sluts? I
Not
get
worth
like,
it.
I get a couple hundred views, but like people would rather just see me make fun of them. So whatever.
Yeah.
Well-
There's a million ways to skin a cat. Kind of like Dream was saying, a lot of the good content out there, and what these guys are telling you, A, they're not experts in their field at anything. They're just kind of like rando boomer guys. And B, all this stuff is free. I will tell you exactly how to get chicks. Go on YouTube.
Tell me.
Join a
Tell
gym.
me.
Well,
Go on
let me
YouTube.
tell you. I'm gonna tell you guys something I told Coach Greg. I talked to him a few weeks ago privately over email, right? So number one, here's his speech from 21 Convention, his main one. He did two other ones, one for the fathers that's on our channel, and he talked to the women too. And good on him. Talking to the women was different than talking to men. Let me tell you, that was pretty wild.
Mhm.
Anyway, here's Coach Greg speaking at the event. This has almost 300,000 views. Came out in December, and there's even more on the clips. There's like clips of it and shit that it has like 500,000 views, right? Now, like you're saying, it's all free on his channel, right? I already knew that before he spoke, and I told him after the fact too. Like this speech, I think it's great. It's a good speech. Coach is savage, right? I'm not happy with his decisions he's making. That should be obvious, and you guys are providing your opinions on that. But this is a good speech. It's 74 minutes long. It's a good speech. It's high quality and shit, right? Here's what it does. It's nothing new. It's nothing you haven't heard Coach Greg say on his channel across like 1,000 videos. It's a compression and a challenge for him to get up on stage in front of a real audience to compress his ideas into a powerful video that reaches a crazy number of people. I guarantee you, like a year from now, this will be the highest viewed video in the world of Coach Greg Adams. That's all, and it's free, right? That's the fucking point, and it actually helps men. It's not some paywalled bullshit that helps 150 people, right? Or 75-person conference. The point wasn't the people he's looking at. The point long-term is to reach 1 million fucking people, which you need like a diamond. Like you can press like you make a diamond. That's what this video is from. It's his best video that's ever existed. That's why it's fucking kicking ass with views. And it's going to outpace all of his own videos because the production quality and the platform that he's on, 21 Convention. That's the fucking point. Like you have to do this to make a real impact in the world. You can't just do podcast videos forever. You have to fucking compress it and make it really pure quality. You drop pure red pills, right, Undead? You say you drop pure red pills.
But fuck, bro, you're just like, you got to use quality. I'm looking at my own channel. It looks like a fucking like trash can.
Dude, Undead's coming in stone.
right.
Ribby's drunk off his ass half the time.
Hold on.
Dude, we're like red pills live from the college frat house.
But that's fine because that's what your purpose is. That's your purpose is to do
but I think
content,
but I think when you're talking about this sort of thing, though, I think that the thing that the common ground that we all have is, we are all speaking about what we know, what we believe in, and what we want, and whether our message is baked into roasting and comedy, or baked into a convention, or baked into talking about misandry, or whatever the thing is. The issue here is that, do I support some of these, conferences? Not all the time. But the reason that I'm here today, the reason that, I went on Red Man Group initially is because, Anthony and I talked, and he's like, we need to unite all the tribes of the Manosphere.
Yep.
And what was interesting is that the second that Anthony, and I know this because I went down to Florida and I spent 5 weeks with you or some shit. It was a while.
Oh my goodness, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So
That's my longest relationship.
I stayed at Anthony's. Yeah, I stayed at Anthony's house, and we hung out and we sat and we drank and we bullshit and we did all our thing. But my point is that the second that Anthony started trying to unite the Manosphere and uniting the tribes in the Manosphere, all the grifters, all the shills, all the dipshits, they lost their fucking minds. And they had all these little bitch ass excuses about, oh, don't involve this person or don't involve that person. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. If you're a grifter, if you're a piece of shit, if you're a PUA, and all you're trying to do is take advantage of men at their lowest point, yeah, go play hide and go fuck yourself. But when you're helping people, and when you're sitting here saying, yeah, I'm helping people and maybe I'm getting compensated for it, that's a horse of a different color. But the thing is that, 2 and 3 years ago, when Anthony started doing this was probably about the summer of 2019, I think. Mm-hmm. When he started really doing this and really pushing this, that's when everybody started showing their true colors. Yep. That's when you started seeing all of this stuff happen. And I say this, because I've been watching it, with popcorn from the front row seat. And on top of that, they've attacked me. And it's not just come from the PUAs. It's not just come from the dating coaches. It's come from people within the MGTOW community that felt threatened.
Well, I think Rollo's not a PUA. Even Rollo's red pill theory guy, right? He's not a PUA, and he goes after me too. And he hated DDJ. He hates DDJ.
I think what the biggest, it's not like MGTOW or red pill or pickup artists. I think what it is dudes that wish they organized this convention instead of you.
Yep.
I literally, it's just straight up jealousy. Like, I honestly think it hit the news, it popped off. I mean, I saw some random news segment of you talking about it get millions of views, right? So all these red pill, MGTOW, whatever, these guys, they saw that. And instead of look, if I want to enter the business competition with Dream Johnson, I'm going to do my conference, I'm going to brand it, and I'll roast him as Wet Dream Johnson. Okay, that's it. Okay. But the bitch shit.
That's what his boyfriend does. You can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. It's all the bitch shit that you're talking about that they're doing. That's they're just trying to bring you down, and they're not even offering it's just a bad, I don't care. It's bad. They're not making a product. Right. They're just roasting you. It's just pure jealousy coming out. And that's the feminine shit.
Look
don't bring this person because blah, blah, blah. Don't bring Ribby the party frog. You drank all my beer last time.
Hang on. Look how fucking jealous Rollo is. In 20, now our fans for a long time, some of them were fans of Rollo, some were fans of 21. They were confused when there was a big fight, right? We put out a 15-page statement. Rollo did his response, all this crap, right? A lot of them, though, turned when this happened. So in 2020, Rollo tried to do his own conference, right? Rule Zero Summit. But here's the kicker. At first, it was before our event by a week or two. So in my view, that was hostile. That was aggressive, passive-aggressive action, right?
Yeah,
putting his own
conference. Kind of bitchy.
It got worse. Because then because the COVID hit, he had to reschedule it like we did to the fall. Here's what he did. He put it on the exact same fucking date. Our event was October 1st,
what a coincidence.
October 4th. What a fucking coincidence. So the attendees see this. A lot of guys who were in the middle, they're like, fuck this. Rollo's obviously a fucking asshole. I'm like, yeah, I told you guys. Who
I
the
don't
fuck
reckon, like,
put the
who are all
conference
these
in the
people?
exec-
Like, I'm
Dude,
dead serious. Like,
I don't know any of these guys.
yeah, I saw the. Okay, wait, who's Myron
Oh wait,
Gaines?
dude, there's a guy from Ants. He's
Yeah,
there.
wait, Myron Gaines. I call him the. He looks like a ring-tailed lemur cuck, like a skinny little ring-tailed lemur.
Or the Ant from Ants too.
By the way,
the Ant
by the way,
Yes.
hang on. You guys know this meme that I was showing you earlier? This one, no refunds to Mossy.
No.
This is the
Hey,
funny one, the no refund.
Listen, all right. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever
Okay.
seen any videos from this online? They were going to do a physical conference, and then they canceled that too, and then it was online. Same.
They steal all their money. Is that what you're saying?
There's no fucking evidence this shit ever even happened. They sold tickets. They sold tickets, man. No refunds. Rolo came out in August 1st or 2nd, 2020. He's like, hey, we're canceling the physical event. We're going to make it online. Same dates, October 2nd to October 3rd. No refunds, right? We're gonna take care of you with the online Zoom conference. That shit never even fucking happened. They just fucked all these dudes out of money.
$600 for a Zoom conference.
I think what they did.
Dude, you
I
got
think what they did.
high escort for a couple hours for that.
It's a scam. It's a scam. That's why I call them now. Hang on. I think what they did to save the chargebacks, they probably got a few chargebacks, and the ones to save the rest, they did one-on-one phone coaching. As I think what they did. I think that's what
come on.
Because Cooper charges. These guys suck up to them. It's a cult of personality. It's insane.
Well, it's funny. You asked a question earlier. You asked about the state of the manosphere.
Yeah.
And before we kind of went down tangent lane, but I think that the statements that you're making here, I think they really kind of tie in. So I agree with Chronic in that the manosphere went mainstream. So like when I quit making videos in 2019 and I was doing my own thing, like I said, I had my head down, I was working a lot of hours trying to stack some cash so that I could buy my house on my one payment plan.
I'm just swinging my dick right now with the news, by the way.
It's fine. And anyway, my point is that, when I came back in, the manosphere was mainstream. You had Tucker Carlson saying stuff like simp and cuck. You had mainstream media personalities who were actually discussing involuntary celibates, not from the feminist perspective, but from an actual, like, they were at least trying to touch on the conversation. And there were conversations that I was having, and specifically I know that I was having in 2018 that nobody was really talking about at that point, other than me and the few people around me. And those are mainstream conversations today, like what Chronic said, he's hearing kids say simp and TikTok videos and those types of things. And again, when you're out and about and you're watching, I watch the news still. So like I'll watch Tucker and I'll watch, some Fox Nation stuff. A lot of the stuff that I talked about wasn't being talked about at the time that I was, like when I was saying that, look, illegal immigration is an issue, but we really need to go after the traffickers because they're victimizing the immigrants as well. Now, a year and a half later, they're doing documentaries on this, on the exact same thing that I called out 2 years before. And so we see this in the mainstream media now. But here's the thing that I don't see. I don't see a lot of non-shill manosphere personalities anymore. And like if you go on YouTube and let's be real, a lot of the stuff that the Better Bachelor is doing is MGTOW content from 3 to 5 years ago. Like I saw a video of his the other day that had 90,000 views. It was on the exact same subject of a video that TFM had done 4 years prior. Yeah. So, those types of things, they're regurgitating old content, which, whatever, more power to them. But my point is that with the exception of the people who are trying to do like the CME events or they're trying to do the shill events, the manosphere people aren't talking to each other anymore. But when I first came online, I first came on YouTube and I started watching YouTube and things like that, people used to talk to each other. The content creators used to communicate with each other. They used to do collaborations with each other, not necessarily consistently, right? But they would cross over each other's audiences and they would find common ground and they would have a reasonable conversation and they would disagree on what they disagreed with. They would agree on what they agreed with and they'd move on with their day. And yeah, there might be some jabs and ribs and roasts and things like that. Ha ha ha, fuck you too. And then everybody moved off as friends. We don't see that anymore. About 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, people in the manosphere, all of a sudden, they were taking the estrogen pill. Yeah. And everybody got butt hurt and my pussy hurts. Nobody cares.
DDJ, would you say the manosphere has become more feminine over time or more masculine?
I think that it has become more feminine. And I think that the reason it has become more feminine in general is because so many people have so much hubris, and they've lost humility. And I think at some level, humility is very much a masculine trait. I also think too that, again, steel sharpens steel. But if you get into a disagreement with somebody on an issue, God damn it, you better be able to talk it through. And if you're going to do it on a live stream, then all the ad hom attacks in the world aren't going to help you. It's about the strength of your argument and the strength of your ideas and your ability to present those things. And I don't see that happening today. What's happening is that you have a lot of people from different tribes of the manosphere basically saying, my pussy hurts, so I'm going to file a privacy complaint because I don't want the truth to get out. Or my pussy hurts, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, do a bunch of hit pieces on you per se. And I'm not saying that anybody here has done that. I believe that the stuff
I've definitely done that. No,
right, but I'm saying, but these are
you don't have to me, man.
No. Hear me out. Look. Just because your overarching message is go play hide and go fuck yourself doesn't mean it's not a public service announcement. Okay. I mean, we all know that this shit's a fraud. We all know that this shit's a cash grab. But how we choose to articulate that is one thing. But the motivation behind the videos we create, especially the videos we create calling people out, is not from a position of ill will. And most importantly, none of us is drama marketing.
Yeah, I think it's more kind of like general, like letting the public know, educating them. It's kind of like if you're going to go into some memes talks, but you have a buddy on Wall Street behind the scenes that's like, hey, we're planning to do this. This is kind of a scam. You might not want to put your money there. It's the same thing with these guys. Be like, anybody actually taking CME interested? Because this is a big world. I'm sure there's some people out there that are maybe like, I might check that out. We're being
I'll just disagree.
You know what's good.
I mean, I'll disagree in general with DDJ, not like his assessments, because like you're looking at a lot of
Okay, I'm gonna cry and go home now.
Oh no! What I'm saying is like, as we all know, these things come in waves, right? So like, we're all content creators. We don't watch that much red pill, MGTOW, whatever content because we're busy creating our own, right? So like the new giants of the manosphere, new giants, whatever, like they're still growing. Like we just don't, we don't follow them that much. Like literally Taylor the Fiend, one of my proteges, he's getting more views daily than me now. I'm like, once he makes more subs than me, it's gonna go from like the Undead Chronic warband to the fucking Taylor warband. I'm not ready for that.
Damn.
But here's the thing, like, I agree the old guard is cucking out. A lot of these guys are covering old stuff. But again, I think it's a problem of vision. Since the manosphere has gotten bigger, of course it's gotten more feminine because you have more feminine dudes going in it. What kind of guy is going to go on YouTube within the first 2 years of YouTube and talk about how females are problems? Barbarossa. Okay, I wouldn't call him feminine. All these, but if you increase your population of people coming in, you get some more. It'll become more feminine in general. You just gotta, it sucks trying to find the diamonds, trying to find good content creators because you never know who's going to hit 100, 150K subs and then cuck. I knew Coach Adams when he had the same amount of subs as me. And I got banned 14 times, dropping red pills. He changed his style to suck with Jockoff's cock to get monetized. And he's made it his job. He's got like 150K subs. He gets super chats. So like, that's his path for me. It's a cuck's path, and I roast cucks, so it's just like it's just
well,
you can't blame a shark for eating. You know what I mean?
You're doing a public service. I support it, man. That's why I share your videos. It's good.
Well, and
we need that conflict. It's good.
And let me kind of take a step back to clarify one thing per se. So when you're talking about red pill content, when you're having the conversation about red pill content, red pill is red pill is red pill. And there's only so much red pill information out there as far as that brutal truth about women and brutal truth about relationships and those types of things. Mm-hmm. But there are successful churches all over the country and all over the world, and they're all reading from the same hymnal. They're all pointing back to the same verses in the Bible. They're all doing, a book that's been written over 2,000 years ago. So if let's just say there was a red pill Bible, so to speak, and in some ways there is, and I always refer to the No Man blog from the early 2000s, and and a lot of the content and videos that have been created as a result of that. But I think that the other piece of that is that sometimes you'll have a content creator who might regurgitate that old content, and that's fine, but they reach somebody that maybe I won't reach. Somebody doesn't like the way I make videos, or they don't like my presentation, or they're like, God damn, he's a fucking boomer, or whatever they're going to say, right? Yeah. And so they're going to go ahead and they're going to be like, okay, well, fuck DDJ, but God damn it, I like the way Undead Chronic says it because it resonates with me. Now, it's no different than what I've said as far as the core message is concerned, but Undead Chronic's delivery may be more palatable to a certain demographic or a certain group of people. It's just like if you have an African American red pill YouTuber and they reach that community that maybe neither one of us can reach, And then, the nice thing is like with Anthony Johnson, I mean, Jesus, clearly based on his former business partners, he's done a good job of reaching the gay community.
Oh my God, dude! That was a really good
Hang
speech, and then you just flip it on the head at the end. But
I gotta drop a comment here. So we're talking about DDJ. You specifically brought up uniting the manosphere and uniting the tribes, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want to hit on that. That's exactly what I'm actually pointing to in the speech. This is a tweet I'm talking about from Coach Greg Adams in the speech, and it mirrors where my stance actually is, and I think it's where Coach Greg's stance was. Now he seems to have changed it when money's involved and CME is involved. So now Coach Greg's talking about it's feminine to have conflict and it's feminine to fight in public, which is, I think, just retarded. It's completely wrong. It's baseless. It's stupid. It's nonsense. Your video calls it out pretty well, Undead. However, I think what's useful where we need peace in the manosphere is between the tribes, the groups, men's rights, pickup artist dudes, dating coaches, to the extent they're not frauds, red pill, MGTOW, the MGTOW versus men's rights versus red pill, all that shit needs to stop. Individuals are going to fight. That's fine. That's men being men. That's masculine and fucking normal, frankly. And it's healthy to keep the community healthy. And when you have too much shit under the rug and not enough out in public, it becomes corrupt, like politics and shit. It gets disgusting. This shady, non-transparent crap.
Yeah,
but as far as uniting the manosphere, the groups need to unite and stop fighting. And Coach Greg used to be about that. He used to be about that. And now he fucking gave up on it for whatever fucking reason.
I mean, I guess you have to define what does uniting the groups mean versus you say red pill and MGTOW should be okay with pickup artists. I have yet to see a pickup artist video that hasn't compelled me to open OBS and let the bitch have it. Right. So I don't know.
Criticism is fine. I'm not saying no criticism. I'm just saying for example, Coach Greg went after Rich Cooper, right? You guys might be familiar with that. That was the first time I think Coach Greg went negative on somebody, and rightly so. Rich Cooper's a douchebag on his best day, right? Complete douchebag. However, I saw finally what actually started that, and that was for some reason Rich Cooper started tweeting at Coach Greg, calling him a doll fucker, accusing him of fucking dolls and shit. So Coach Greg was fuck this dude.
I made a video respond to that actually. That was my first video roasting Entre Cucks and Cars since he called Coach Greg Adams a doll fucker. Yeah, which, let's be honest, does Coach Greg Adams still profess to be MGTOW? I don't think he does.
Nobody does. And the reason that they don't, and just so we're clear, there were a lot of content creators, a lot of the bigger content creators, probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, who got together. They had some conversations behind the scenes, and many of them started moving away from the label because there was so much heat coming from it, because there was so much trash in the community. And so a lot of content creators that were actually making good content did not want to be associated with the trash that was there. Now, all those trash content creators are gone, but a lot of the MGTOW content creators who were truly there, they're still there, but we've lost a lot of voices within that particular community. But I also want to say this, while there are a lot of MGTOW, including myself, who will make fun of PUAs, that's not to say we don't use those tactics ourselves. Okay, let's be real. Okay, I mean, if we're trying to get laid or whatever, I mean, you use the right tool for the job, right? So it is what it is. But I'm saying you don't have to be sleazy or anything else. It's just about, like what Ribby said, go to the gym, don't be retarded, shower, maybe brush your teeth, and call it a day. But I think that, as far as uniting the manosphere is concerned, I think for me, it's about common ground as opposed to, we all need to march in lockstep. We can still be individuals. We can still have our agreements and disagreements. I mean, shit, Anthony and I have our disagreements, but that doesn't mean that we don't support one another. And it doesn't mean that we don't respect each other as men. We find our common ground, we move on there. And then occasionally he fucks with me and occasionally I fuck with him. That's how the world works.
I just guess I don't like lying. You know what I mean? I just hate lying. So just given the nature of my channel, Ribby, you'll back me up on this. I just can't declare any kind of truths because I don't know who I'm going to roast next. Because again, I'll blaze it, turn on YouTube, and let's find some cucks, right? But I mean, I don't think I made a video saying men's rights as an idea, as a group, as their philosophy is wrong. I don't think I made any kind of video dunking on a philosophy. I mean, that stuff's too boring for me.
Well, and I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying that anybody needs to declare a truce. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is common ground based alliances. It's a scenario where, you talk about the common ground, and yeah, maybe you make an aside comment where you disagree with somebody. And look, like for instance, let's say you made a video and you said, hey, I just met this DDJ guy. Here's my thoughts on him. And not all those thoughts are positive. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, God damn it. And start, I'll be like, okay, well, I guess he disagreed with me. Okay. Guess what? He doesn't sign my paycheck. He doesn't give me a grade. And thank God he's not sucking my dick. So I don't care what his name is.
DDJ stands for Dirty Johnson, because you need to take a shower and clean it.
It's only a dirty Johnson because it was up inside of you and you didn't clean your sphincter, motherfucker. So come on now.
This is what I don't understand. Like, I'm not even upset here. I'm just like, I don't understand the dudes who will use the homoerotic joke. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll always use that because I'm old.
Yeah, all the time. No, a lot of dudes will do it. But I don't know. For me, that combined with the calling your enemies gay, I don't know. That's just like, is it good or bad? Like, is he gay? Am I gay? Is that bad? I don't even know. You're gonna confuse a lot of Zoomers out here, man.
A lot of Zoomers are confused before I ever walked on the scene. I mean, that's what happens when you get raised by a single parent.
They were born confused.
They were born confused. And they don't have the
what am I?
Yeah, and they don't have the multi-generational male mentorship either. And they don't understand that, like, the gay joke is funny and it's super old, probably old as I am, but my point is that I get all that. A lot of that shit's tired. So yeah, okay, whatever.
Oh, no. I just thought it was funny given your other comments. I was just like, I fucked you in the dick. I'm like, wait a second. Wait, I thought being gay was bad.
Right. But I guess for me, when I talk about it like that,
it's how you were raised, like that was the comedy style you and your boys had in middle school. I get that.
Yeah. Back when we, didn't have electricity.
Back when you could call people slurs and no one really, would cancel you.
Yeah. Right.
The first time
trust me, we were way worse back then, though. Gay was nothing. Gay was like the vanilla statement. We were so much more vicious. Oh God.
Oh yeah. There's about the whole United League, man. I think the best way to do it, I mean, honestly, just having high production value. I think what 21 Studios is doing, and I'm more thinking about, like, I don't really watch it, but I don't watch much Red Bull content. I think it's the best way to do it. I mean, people having little beefs and little spats is whatever. For me, CME, it's just like the biggest collection of cucks in the past 5 years. It's like when the Spanish fleet were shipping out all their silver back in the day. Like, they sent it out like once every 3 years, and their fleet sank. Okay, and all them pirates, all those American pirates, Blackbeard, Black Sam Bellamy, bunch of crazy fuckers went down and went ham on some Spanish gold and silver. Okay, that's what I'm doing. There's so many cucks here, and they're all spreading around the little shared bottle of zinc. How could I not roast them? Oh,
and here's the thing too, guys. Like, Chronic and I wouldn't go so hard on these guys if they were just sticking to their channel. They were sticking to whatever. The fact that they're making a conference for, again, one weekend, charging people $2,000, led by an
okay, pause it. Wait, go back and pause it where you're in front of them all. Yeah, go back and pause it. Okay.
Mid-40-year-old chick who's taking tons of sausage.
Ribby, look at this. I will say, I would roast this. Just the way these guys are standing. Like,
dude, especially
we're all these old dudes. We're all those old dudes. I don't even know them all. Like, who are those dudes? The guy in the fedora? Oh, I love it.
Fedora? Oh, no.
Yeah, and I think also too. I think that's something that's also, I think, relevant. I mean, and again, I say this as the old grandfather type, and absolutely get off my lawn. But
I just watered it, kids, get off.
Right, exactly. But my point is that because we have a society of children who've been raised by single moms, there is no multi-generational mentorship anymore. And there's a lot of things that a lot of guys of the older generation can teach people. And so, like, for example, and I've said this to Anthony when we talked about multi-generational mentorship and the importance of the extended family, was that parenting doesn't stop when your children turn 18. And when the children get married, the mom and the dad on both sides are supposed to provide mentorship to the husband and wife children, right? Because they're adults. And when they have their first child, they're supposed to help them take care of the kid and mentor them and teach them how to be good parents as far as the skills are concerned. And sometimes when you can't talk to your dad for whatever reason, or you can't talk to your father-in-law for whatever reason, that's when you talk to your cousins and your uncles and all those other extended family connections. The problem that we have today is that because so many of these families have been destroyed for a variety of reasons. Like we can go and we could tangent on that for another hour, but let's not. My point is that now we're in a position where we berate our elderly because they're old, or we berate those with more experience than us because we don't understand. And don't get me wrong, I think that's the job of every generation, because when the youth kind of roast the older generations, like your generation roasts my generation, for example, I'm a Gen Xer. It forces Gen Xers to really consider what's valid and what's not. And those people, because the thing that most people don't talk about is that as men, we should be lifelong learning. Yeah, we go to college, or we read books and we do certain things, but after we get into the workforce, we still have to learn. We still have to educate ourselves because we have to adapt. We live in a world that it requires adaptation. And that's not something new. That's something that's thousands of years old. So I think that the problem that we have today, at least in some portions of the manosphere, is that we have this multi-generational gap where the old people are making fun of the young people and don't realize the great things that these young people bring to the table. And a lot of younger generations make fun of the older generation for no other reason than they're old.
GDJ, I would argue that from what I've heard, some of the purest, most brutal red pills will come from like a red pill grandpa.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the greatest generation, World War II, kind of like enlisted when he was 17, had the classic old school. So going from that to looking at the world now, it really is like you're from a different planet, basically, from how far we've come. And that's like the classic red pill, if you really look at it, like the way things kind of used to be. But
well, I agree with you from a technology standpoint, but it's funny when you said that, it reminded me of the Sam Elliott scenes in We Were Soldiers, when they were saying, you guys are all family and Indians and stuff. I don't know if you guys saw the movie, but then Sam Elliott's the grandfather who was in World War II, and he's like the sergeant, and he looks over there and he goes, any one of you sons of bitches calls me grandpa and I'll kill you.
Nice. Yeah.
Damn. Well, guys, it's been a good stream. I think we'll start winding down. It's been over 2 hours now. I really appreciate having all of you on the show today. Undead, both of you guys, everybody, DDJ coming back. Like I told you, Undead, like I don't mind getting roasted and criticized and shit. It doesn't matter to me. Either you're right and you're right, or you're wrong. So it is what it is.
Well, you don't really. It's not really a roast. It's more of a comment. Actually, you know what? It's not even worth saying. You don't make any. Of your recent videos, I haven't seen any. I'm just like, what the, whatever. And again, once you stroke my ego once by saying I have funny roasts, you pretty much bought a immunity to roastage, unless you have some extreme cockatry or some shit. I don't know. I go like, Chronic, you're so funny. I'm like, I'm never gonna roast that guy again. Shit, he thinks I'm funny.
If I earn a roast, please feel free to roast me. Like if I earn it, in your opinion, go ahead. Like I need to take it. It's part of becoming becoming stronger.
Usually, what I'll do is like if I'm in a YouTube relationship with someone, I streamed them once and didn't like end in a ad hom attack. If they make some kind of like cuck shit I disagree with, usually I'll send them an email. I'll be like, hey, I just kind of, but
I think it's pretty reasonable too. And Donovan did not do that with me a long time ago.
Well, people do. Yeah, no, I know, right? Yeah, you totally did it. Yeah, but I think what the big thing is, especially with roasting, is if I just focus on just because it's easy to roast anyone. I gotta focus on anybody, but like. If I'm going to roast specific manosphere content creators, and that's all I end up doing, in general, who am I helping out? I'm helping out the left. I'm helping out feminists, right? So it's like, you really got to piss me off some cockatry. But I do, we need to jump back to some just feminist roasts, some thoughts and whatever. But no,
classics.
I think you're pretty cool. You've done enough research for me and Ribs to roast. So I feel like I owe you some Dogecoin or something.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
definitely. And here's the thing, too, Dream. To have a disagreement, to be like, well, we thought this, we thought that. You acknowledge it, and you're like, you know what? These guys seem like they have some stuff to say. We're both obviously opposed to CME and Donna Cuck, so we're going to unite forces and bounce some ideas around. At the end of the day, it's like a real man could be like, hey, we disagree on some things, but agree on others. So, yeah. Whereas all the CME guys, they're aware of our roast. Like, they just like Greg Adams and a bunch of the others, they'll indirectly reference me and Chronic in our videos without actually reaching out to us or wanting to have a stream with us or even acknowledging it, because they're just butthurt about it rather than actually being like, oh, look, we exchanged some differences, we'll talk it out.
Well,
So,
the reason they're passive aggressive towards you like that, not naming you but referring to you, is because they're scared of you. They can't handle the heat. They can't handle the comedy. It's literally your roasts are too intense. They get scared of you.
Which I think it's just kind of funny because, like, if someone goes, and all these guys making response videos with their cartoon avatars, they're talking about two people. Like, who are you fucking talking about?
That? Come on.
Who are you talking about? Is there like an undead cuck somewhere making fun of you? Please show me him.
Yep. Well, anyways, guys, it's been a lot of fun. This has been a great stream. I really appreciate it. I think everybody's enjoyed it too. There's been a lot of chat going on here.
Yeah, good job. I'm sure we'll be in contact. Thanks for the invite.
Maybe have
Thanks
you
for
guys
having
on
us, guys.
sometime.
Nice meeting you, gentlemen.
Everybody here is welcome back. We'll do another stream at some point. Maybe when CME falls apart into a roasting flame of dumpster fires.
That'll definitely that'll happen.
I'll bring some alcohol for that.
I think it's just going to fall apart from what I'm hearing. So that's kind of funny.
Oh,
Dude, you might just try and take the money and run. They got to watch it.
DDJ pointed that out. DDJ did a video on that, man. It's like they have no refunds even if the event isn't held, which is crazy. Like,
man, dude, they can make anything up then. We'll be like, something happened. We're not able to make it at this time. There goes your money. God damn.
Okay, Ribby. Let's hop on out of here. We'll take the rest of this dude tonight. He needs to see his fucking family.
All right. Thanks for having us, guys.
Take care, guys.
Later.
Yeah, see you guys next weekend on the Redman Group, most likely. Peace out. And DDJ, Ribby, everybody, thanks. Peace.